Hello and welcome to Trails Through Trails, the podcast where we play through the long-running Trails series one half chapter at a time. This week we're playing through the first half of Chapter 3. I'm one of your hosts, Lex, and I use she, her pronouns.
And I'm Matt. I use he, him.
How you been this week, Matt?
Yeah, I've been pretty good. The week has flown by. I felt like it was still last weekend when this weekend began. We had rare moments of sunshine here in Melbourne this week.
Nice.
I managed to stand outside for multiple seconds without a jacket, so that was nice.
Ooh. Meanwhile, I had to wear a jacket again for the first time in ages I have to wear a jacket to work a lot because I'm a lawyer, and if you don't wear a jacket to work, they don't like it. But I had to because of the weather for the first time in months this week.
Times are changing for both of us.
They are.
Other than that, just all the usual things. Video games. I don't think I've finished anything this week in a rare twist.
Oh.
I did play a bunch of stuff. I'm still playing sort of background a Cold Steel 1 replay to up those New Game Plus points. I am now at the beginning of Chapter 6.
Oh, wow. Nice.
At this point, I've sort of decided that I don't really need to rewatch the story. I want to sort of keep it fresh for when we get to it on the show.
Yeah.
So other than slowing down for the occasional moment, just if it catches my interest, I'm just fast forwarding through all of the cutscenes all of the time.
Are you doing the side quests and stuff or no?
I'm still doing the side quests, yeah, because some of them were related to like character notes that I still needed to get the trophies, things like that. But it has been nice to sort of knock off a few trophies along the way. Mm-hmm. There was one for like starting advantage battles where you sort of catch the enemy unawares. You had to do 300.
Yeah.
Which I just didn't get close to because I think late in my original playthrough, I sort of leveled up very quickly and just skipped a lot of random battles. So a lot of the battle-related ones kind of fell by the wayside. So that one, the S-Breaks one, I got still got to get the Cancelling Arts one. That's still eluding me. And the Burst one, because in the actual game, Burst, I won't say anything about it. It's something you get later in the story, so you don't really have a lot of time to max out on it. It does seem like some of these are definitely geared for being only achievable on New Game Plus.
Yeah.
Because there's also sort of character bonding moment stuff.
Oh, yeah. That you can't do on first playthrough.
Yeah, technically you can only get one per playthrough, but you can sort of like save scum a little bit to sort of optimize how many you can get per run through based on which characters you got closest to. So I'm about to do that as well.
Nothing compares to Cold Steel 2 in terms of not being able to get everything on the first playthrough. We will leave it at that, but they really wanted you to New Game Plus that game, and thankfully after that they stopped locking things behind New Game Plus. I mean, there's still times where it's like you can't do everything in one run, you have to prioritize, but they stopped having like that, and I think Trails to Azure also has some New Game Plus only bosses, but it's not like story content. I mean, there's not that much story content that's locked in Cold Steel 2 behind New Game Plus. It's not like it's one scene. It's just like, really? You locked this scene behind New Game Plus? Anyway, and then there's a dungeon, but not a story-relevant one, I think. I haven't done it yet.
Yeah, so I'll probably end up doing a New Game Plus rerun of Cold Steel 2 as well for the same sort of points-gathering reasons.
Yeah.
So I'll blast through that one as well. It's been really good for podcasts. I've just been setting the volume down. You know, if I ever want to catch a cutscene, like, you know, character introduction or something, it's just nice to see them sort of appear again for the first time. It's just put on a podcast, catch up on anything I want to, brain off, controller on. Love it. I also remembered that Lies of P was added to PlayStation Plus a while ago.
Oh, yeah.
So I randomly booted that up and started playing in super easy baby mode, which is exactly my speed.
Right, it has one of those.
Yeah, I think they added it later on as sort of a post-launch update.
Yes.
So I'm playing in that, which is the exact kind of speed of Dark Souls I enjoy, the very, very, very easy kind. Because that kind of like live, die, repeat mechanic doesn't empower me the way it does seem to some people. Like, I know you're sort of failing to improve. I just don't like that.
Fair.
And also just on some level, the completionist in me doesn't like that every time I heal, all the enemies come back.
Yeah.
It's like, but I just killed all those guys.
I get that.
Yeah, it's a different methodology. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just it doesn't sort of tickle my brain the way it seems to for some other people. But on Super Baby Easy mode, it's great because you still can lose, but it's not easy to do so. So I've just sort of been messing around with that for only like the last 2 days. So I've cleared the first boss that you get a trophy for, the Watchman, I think he's called, and that's about as far as I've made. So I just got my P organ is where I'm at.
I love that.
I love to use my P organ to fight puppets.
Using your P organ to play with dolls.
What can I say? Chase made it sound real good whenever he talked about it on Podtimism, so I had to check it out eventually. That's been about it for me. I also dabbled a bit more in the new DLC for Kirby Forgotten Land on Switch 2.
Oh yeah.
It's just some extra levels. I think I'm already at the last of the new levels, other than maybe a final boss or something, so it's not actually that many. Unless something else unlocks after that, I'm not too sure. But it does feel like it just sort of like adds in extra like alternate world gates in its little world map. But you're moving very quickly from like zone to zone. So I'm already at the end boss. So I think there's been like 8 of them. It's fun. It's nice to go back to that game because there's still sort of end game stuff I haven't done as well. And this might help me sort of get back to that. We'll see. As is obvious, I always have way too many games on the go at one time. So often they fall by the wayside, not by any fault of their own, just because something else shiny appeared one too many times and they slipped off the home screen.
Yeah.
But that's what my still playing folder is for, and we don't think about how many things are in there.
Yeah. Yeah, we know we're in danger when you start playing a bunch of games brand new. That's you go through cycles. You finish a bunch of games all in one row, and then you start a bunch of games. And I think you're in the starting mode.
I feel it's more organized than just constantly being finishing or starting games. So
yeah, no, it's not quite like that. But you have a cycle that has a lot of in between, but then occasionally you have those two things repeat themselves.
And then sometimes everything gets exhausted and I just switch to like catching up on Netflix or whatever instead.
True.
But how about yourself?
I've been good. I have been, still busy with my new job. I've been playing a game that I don't even know if I'm allowed to say what it is right now, but you got me a code for it. Thank you very much because I've been having a blast. And when it comes out for real, I'm definitely going to talk more about it because people got to play this game. People got to pick it up.
I think that one's going to hit pretty hard when its moment comes, so I'll be excited to dive into that a little bit on the show.
You're going to love it.
Because one of the best things about talking about one RPG series all the time for a podcast is it's a great excuse to also talk about other RPG series in comparison and contrast to that.
It is.
But look forward to that eventually.
I could have some comparisons to Trails I Made, but also it's one of those things where the combat, it's like you're seeing it when you're trying to fall asleep, like the Tetris effect, where it's like in my sleep, I'm doing it. I was at work on Friday and I was like, I can't believe I have to be at work and I can't be playing Redacted. Like, oh my God, it was just in my head.
That's the best kind, yeah. The ones that really like worm their way in.
It's really fun.
Like a background process strategy.
Yeah. It's so good. Tickles that spot. What else have I been up to? I've been listening to the new Sabrina Carpenter album a lot. It's a blast. I was talking to a friend and I was like, we were talking about like her various albums and like her favorite one is not the same as mine. We all like them. The ones we've heard, at least I have heard last 3. And we were talking about like which ones each of us prefers. And finally, my friend was like, I think it's just that you really love disco. And the more disco a song or album is, the more you like it. And I'm like, I am a slut for disco. That's so true. Nice. It's like, and there's definitely some disco inspiration on this and the last one. And it's like, yeah, no, that really is like my taste in music. But when it comes to like something I'm just listening to because I just want to like be happy, it's always disco. Like disco vibes, disco influences. No wonder I'm such an ABBA maniac.
I was going to say, ABBA stays with us always. Yeah, no, that's awesome. I saw stuff about her new album coming out, but I don't follow her as closely. Like, there's definitely a few tracks that I've loved that have been on playlists over the years. She's not on my notification alerts, you know?
I think there are a few songs we can talk about after that I think you'd really like. She has a lot of really funny, dirty jokes and innuendos in her songs that you would appreciate.
Oh, what's the song that in a concert she was always doing the custom outros per location?
The Nonsense, yeah.
Prepare to meet your doom!
This is like the most in advance I've played a chapter since the first chapter of FC.
I always save playing the game as my dessert after editing the episode before. Yes. Also because it's nice to kind of just remind myself what I thought about the game before I go into the next bit.
Makes sense.
But yeah, like this, it kind of snuck up on me how much game there was in this half of the chapter.
I was just going to say, for those listening, I just remember it will have been 2 weeks since the last episode you heard rather than 1 week. We are recording this a week in advance, but it will have been 2 weeks since you heard from us. So we are presumably still alive and kicking. Thank you for your concern.
Yes, I think I can broadcast a week in advance that I'll still be alive and able to play the Trails games.
Thanks for remembering that we exist for 2 weeks. I know the algorithm has put a lot into your brain since you last heard from us, so thanks for coming back.
But with that, let's get back into this game that we love so dearly with Chapter 3, Part 1.
Yeah, we open with one of those cold opens they love, and they're at Leeson Fortress, putting the new engine in the RSA that we've heard hyped up. And we got a great line from Faye talking about it. She goes, "Who needs a guy or a girl when you can fall in love with something like that?" Talk about the ship. And I love that.
We love by Queen Faye.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that because I saw the pink hair and I know it's a model that gets reused a couple of times.
Yes.
For other engineers. It seems like every female engineer has pink hair.
Mm-hmm.
I spotted her getting off the airship. I was like, oh, it's Faye. And then immediately she had the best line of the scene. It was like, she's like, who needs a guy or a girl or a non-binary aircraft when you can fall in love with something like that?
Yeah.
Oh, what a queen.
Love her. And then Sid comes out to greet Gustav, maintenance chief Gustav, or whatever his title is, and says, you're just in time because we have a combat demonstration about to happen. And it's Cassius and Julia doing like a combat demonstration. And the dynamic is, it's very cute with like the sprites jumping around doing the combat in a way that is like minimalist but feels big and exciting. Cassius is very much the teacher in this scene. Like he's telling her, take advantage of how light your weapon is to go faster than me. And she's very receptive to anything he says. Like, there's no, like, don't tell me what to do. Like, she's very much like, yes, good. Like, she's very much like, I'm learning for the best.
Because he's calling out her, like, combat deficiencies or slip-ups as they go. It's not an aggressive thing. She's immediately like, got it, because they're on the same wavelength. This isn't a proving yourself fight.
Yeah.
It's a testing yourself fight, which I really enjoy. It's not as exciting as some of the combat animations we've seen in the past. Like, nothing will ever pass, I think, that moment in first chapter when it was...
The spinning?
The spinning on the light pole was great at the invasion of the villa, but I was immediately taken back to Agate in that fight with Louve as Lawrence, where he swings his sword and Lawrence lands on the sword blade. That was
that was really good.
Really cool use of sprites that they already had.
Mm-hmm.
And it'd be tough to top that. But still, this fight is very dynamic. They're sort of swinging back and forth. You see the difference in sort of her fast, precise sword play with her rapier versus his big, sweeping, very powerful blows with the staff. So she's sort of having to duck and weave around his longer range, and they're taking that into account as part of this animation. Can you tell that I've just been playing a Dark Souls game this morning because I'm thinking about weapon ranges?
Yeah.
It's still very fun, and she is adjusting on the fly and actually catches him unawares a few times.
Yeah.
They played out really beautifully, and I love the swinging camera angles. They're doing a lot with the little again, and it's amazing. It's
very cinematic, yeah. We also, obviously Cassius wins ultimately, but she does put up a good fight. She does put up a good showing.
Mm-hmm.
And we do learn that apparently Cassius taught her the basics like years ago when she was first starting out. So he didn't teach her to fight exactly. She had another instructor at some point for the rapier, but he's the one who taught her in the very first place, which is cool. Cassius says, you did a really good job, and Julia is ashamed that she couldn't beat him, but General Morgan's there and says, remember who you're fighting, and quote, I've yet to meet a man or woman who can match blades with Cassius without having their sword swept from their hand in a few strikes. Like, Cassius is a fucking legend.
Cassius is a legend. Morgan has calmed down a lot.
I guess because all what he wanted was Cassius back in the army, and now he has Cassius back in the army.
He's got that, yeah. He's chilled out. He's also able to be more, like, emotionally diverse now that he has more than one single profile picture.
Yeah.
Because he only had that one angry face in the first game. It must really be a relief to emote that much.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's just like, you stood up against a tornado of a man and didn't immediately get swept off your feet. So, like, take that win.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I can see why Cassius and Her Majesty place such stock in you. So it's like, you might not have beaten the best guy ever, but the ruler of your country and the best guy ever both think that you're pretty cool, so you're doing good.
Yeah, exactly. So she does feel a bit better after that, and she leaves to show Gustave to the Arcee engine room. And meanwhile, like, Sid, Morgan, and Cassius get, like, a little boys' club together to talk about Julia's progress. And Cassius says that she's only a step or two behind Sid and Alan Richard, and she can only grow from here. It also kind of sounds like they say something about Morgan competing in the last martial arts tournament, and I guess they must mean the one before last, like, the last real one.
I guess?
Because, like, he was in jail. Like, he was being held captive.
Also, in this moment, Morgan straight up hits on Cassius. I don't know if you caught this. He's like, Cassius, how about it? I'll give you a skewering later if you're up for it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I didn't quite clock that, I don't think.
Out of context, I thought it was funny enough, but Cassius's response is to say, Morgan, I'm not sure it'd be the best idea at your age. So, and Morgan goes, murr. So he's just like, you're too old to fuck. I'm sorry.
Damn, ageism. Come on, Cassius.
He's the most powerful swordsman he was the most powerful swordsman in the country, and now he uses an even longer staff. I don't think Morgan could handle him.
This is true, but maybe that's what Morgan's into.
Maybe.
Sid's gonna go patrol. The signing ceremony's, like, coming up, and then we go out and see the outside of Leyston Fortress, and we see Amalthea!
She's back.
She made it out of the underground. They're calling her Canone now. Like, that's her first name, I guess, but she's spying on Leyston. It looks like she's planning to break Richard out, I guess, with her acrylics. She'll just tunnel a hole out of the prison cell.
Yes, but I think they're calling her by her first name as well, because she's no longer in her military fit. She has a new look.
True.
Because she's distanced herself from her former position, still looks like sick as hell.
Yeah.
Like the hair dead straight, like came directly from the GHD salon.
Yes. They have one of those in the underground ruins, I guess.
They must do. But yeah, she's just like hiding out on the cliff. She's observing all of the defenses around the base. She says there's a mined harbor, gun emplacements covering all approaches, watchtowers, orbital sensors. The defense is perfect. If that's the way you want to play Cassius Bright, I'll just have to change the rules of the game a little, as suggested. And then says, sir, just wait a little bit longer. Your freedom is coming soon, Colonel, I promise. And just has the smuggest little look on her face as we cut to the title for Chapter 3, The Mad Tea Party.
The Mad Tea Party. That's an exciting one. You know shit's gonna go down when you get a title like that. As soon as you get the title card, you're immediately asked to select your party, which is kind of cool. Before you can even, like, progress.
Who did you take along this time?
Oh, who did I take along this time? I think I have no idea. Because it was just for that side quest.
Oh, yeah.
This quest, so you then get a side quest, while I'm looking for who it was, you get a side quest, basically a hotel guest has wandered off to the Limestone Cave, which, as we remember from the first game, is full of evil penguins, and as we remember from earlier in this game, the military had to block off because, like, the penguins were so evil that they were out of control or something. Okay, looks like I had Olivier, Jin, Sharon, Estelle, obviously. I wanted Olivier, and then I wanted Jin because I wanted someone who's actually meant to be a physical attacker. I was like, finally, someone physical.
I had Agate, of course, and then Chloe and Olivier. So I wanted to kind of balance that. I already had a heavy hitter. Yeah, it's interesting how differing the two sort of locked in party members are that force you to have completely different approaches depending on which version you're playing.
Definitely. One thing that bugs me about this side quest is, so it's Jimmy, who, Jimmy's the guest, and we met Jimmy in FC.
Yes.
He's looking for a treasure chest. If you carry your save data over, there's recognition of that, and you get extra quartz and stuff like that. And because I completely forgot to do that, because I thought it was asking if I wanted to do New Game Plus, and just said, no, I'm going to play it for real. I don't have that. And I'm annoyed, because I'm like, wait, would Orvid's conversation side quest, was that different if you had ported the side, like, because they didn't seem to know each other, but...
I didn't see any mention of it in my side quest tracker that I've been using.
No, I don't think you get different rewards, but would the dialogue have been any different?
Yeah, I mean, they've highlighted the difference in quests, but it has been reward-based so far, so maybe... But yeah, basically the difference is that you get an additional quartz as a reward at the end of this quest.
And it's like the best quartz in the game.
The yin-yang quartz?
You can get another one later, but it's so good.
Yeah, it's another situation, though, where the recommended quartz configuration guide I've been using to kind of make sure that I'm equipping these parties properly as I sort of change it up It has the yin-yang ones that then sort of locks in as like a permanent fixture, same as the luck quartz that I don't have.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, I'm having to get a bit creative with the ornament setup, which isn't the worst thing. It's me engaging with the system more than I would be otherwise, but it is a little bit of a bummer. I'm glad to hear there's one that comes along later. What exactly does it do, the yin-yang?
The biggest thing that's great about it is the fact that it just, like, the elements it has, but its effects are that it mixes the effects of the heal quartz and the haze quartz so enemies don't see you, which is also quite nice.
Oh, and you get healing spells. Or you heal as you move.
Yeah. So, but it just helps you unlock a lot of other spells because it has really good, it's really good on Chloe because she has multiple, like, water locked slots.
Yeah. And the double up quartz, they do come in really handy.
Yes. The one thing I did notice, the descriptions for these penguins are so fucking funny.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so obsessed with them. You've got, hang on, I've got some screenshots of them. You've got the pink penguin, an excitable cave monster, lonely and weak-willed, that's ever in search of love.
Yeah.
You get, the green penguin, an excitable cave monster that throws meat instead of eating it, an evil vegetarian.
I didn't see that one. That's great.
You get the blue penguin, an excitable cave monster that uses ice-based arts, a thinker who loves debate.
Sure.
The white penguin, named, quote, penguin, but really an entirely different species, mysterious.
Excellent.
The yellow penguin is an excitable cave monster, has a twisted personality, beware the lethal farts. And the last one, I think this is the last one. It's not that, it's the least interesting of them all, but just for completion's sake. Red penguin, an excitable cave monster, attacks with crafts, a quarrelsome bird.
Quarrelsome, I love that. The one screenshot I took was the remaining one, the king penguin, who was the boss monster at the end of this cave in the first game, but you find him as just a random enemy just before the end of the cave in this game.
Yeah.
And his description says, Lord of the Cavern, or used to be, emits an intense shock which can paralyze an enemy. So he's been ousted as like the big boss of the cave. You sort of get the hint just before getting to the end, which I really enjoyed.
Yes, I love it.
This cave is full of penguins still. It's still a maze still.
Yep.
Fun fact, I did see in a DLC costumes trailer for first chapter remake that one of the new items is hats that are of all the different penguin types.
Oh my god, I didn't see the penguin ones. That's awesome. I could be an evil vegetarian.
You could be an evil vegetarian. You could throw meat at people.
Oh my god. Imagine if they actually implemented that as like to go along with it. Like your animation of throwing meat at people to go along with it or whatever. Or farting for the one that farts.
This is a game that has DLC of like a cloud of hot dogs and hamburgers flying around you.
It's
so
true.
Who knows what's possible. In any case, back to second chapter.
Yeah.
We sort of track through it. Like if you've done it before, you can do it again. Like there's some treasures along the way, but it is fairly straightforward if you just follow a wall, as in most of these dungeons. At the end, you find the spot with the glowing moss on the big rock.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, there is now a man with a treasure chest.
Yeah, it's Jimmy again, and he is all excited. He's shouting about how he found it, and his voice echoes, and he gets excited with the echo, so he does it again, which of course is a great idea.
He yells out, "I love you, Jimmy," so that he can hear the cave say that it loves him.
But, of course, that attracts someone to come and check on him, and that someone is a divine penguin. And fuck this guy.
Yeah, this guy sucked.
His description is funny. It's a rare penguin turned monster. I like that the others are not penguins turned monsters. They're just excitable cave monsters. But this was a penguin turned monster. Mm-hmm. Got lost in the tunnels after being afraid of the dark. That's his lore. I guess that makes him divine. He's the fucking worst.
Makes sense that he would have like kicked out the king penguin from the one spot that has like glowing moss as well, because it's the safest spot that he could find in the cave.
Yeah, it does make sense. But, oh man, he's the worst.
Real pain. I feel like I did okay-ish in this one because I had leveled up pretty aggressively.
Yeah.
But it was still just like a little bit of a slog.
Yeah, Jimmy just kept dying is my problem. Jimmy just kept getting his ass fucking killed, and I was like, come on.
Having a guest NPC in a boss fight is not fun.
Mm-mm.
I guess I lucked out on which direction he decided to run most of the time. I had to heal him a couple times to save his life, but
yeah,
he mostly kept out of the way, and the penguins, I was able to sort of keep their attention on the party so that they did not decimate him, because there's a lot of minion penguins when you start out. So I was glad that I had like 200 CP ready to go with a couple of S-crafts to really sort of knock them out of the running first.
It's nice. I also was annoyed in general because I spent a long time trying to grind a quartz from the king penguin to try and get a drop, and I just couldn't get it. I don't remember what quartz it was.
Is the HP 3 that I didn't bother trying to get?
I think I spent an hour trying to get it before finally giving up. It was really annoying.
Because as far as I know, there's only that one spawn point for him as well, right at the end of the cave, huh?
Exactly. I was like reloading the save to do it, so
ugh.
Yeah. And it's an annoying fight. Like the little king penguin, like it's fine, but it's more work than your normal enemy encounter because it's like a former boss. It's a little harder, just enough to make it more annoying to try and farm it.
Right, because there was the one I was trying to farm the evade quartz from just outside of Ruin, the big
jelly guy. Yeah,
they at least go down a bit easier, especially if you sit there fighting them, because I started off doing save reloads, and then eventually I was just like, ugh, I'll just run in and out of the scene because then at least I'm getting something out of this.
Yeah.
But I sort of saw that and was like, I'm already missing a couple of the quartz it's recommending that I use. I'm like, does it really matter if I use a HP 2 instead of a HP 3 until I can afford to buy one from the shop, which I did like almost immediately later.
Yeah.
So we get to the end of the cave, we fight this stupid penguin for stupid Jimmy, and then I'm like, all right, well, what's in the chest? And oh, sorry, I realized that I stopped early in my notes and I'd written like the 12,000 fucking health for this fucking penguin peacock thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the other thing. He kept stacking status effects. He's like a Marlboro from Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I know. It's an artifact. It's this thing called the Silver Dew Orb from like a legendary pirate that apparently warns the bearer of approaching danger.
Right.
But it's an artifact, basically. So the conclusion of the quest is essentially that they're like, you should go and get the church or the museum or someone to check this out because artifacts are dangerous. And Jimmy's like, oh shit, okay, I guess I'll do that.
Yeah. He also finds a complete note in the bottom of the chest as well.
Even though it was underwater, it
was, I guess, an airtight chest, so good on these red and gold chests. That's why they have all the good stuff in them, I guess. And the note inside says, in memory of my 70th birthday and my retirement from piracy.
I like in memory of my 70th birthday, like not in honor of, in memory of. That implies that it is past your 70th birthday. Like that it's the anniversary of your 70th birthday or something.
2 years later, you're like, I should remember my 70th.
Yeah.
But yeah, in memory of his birthday and his retirement from piracy, here lies my Silver Dew Orb. This gem holds the power to warn its bearer of all approaching danger. I can say my living to this day is thanks to none other than this jewel. However, I have grown old and weary of being bothered by the knights who come seeking it. And so I sink it into this lake. You who have found it, do as you please. However, as I wrote, this treasure comes with its own troubles. Sherma.
Yeah.
There's no real resolution to the note. I fully thought that I had like skipped a screen by accident. It's just like, hey, this might have some trouble.
Bye.
Sherma.
I like that that's kind of a chest message itself. Like, I like to imagine that that's its own chest message. There were some good chest messages in this cave that I wanted to flag before we totally leave it.
Which ones did you pick out?
There was one I really liked that was, fun fact in all caps, that didn't belong to you.
Yeah, that's cute.
And then you obtain 80 million imaginary mirror.
I like that one as well. I could use 80 million mirror right about now.
Right? That one was fun. Hang on, what was the other one I really liked? How many years has this treasure chest been here? How many adventurers has this chest seen? You aren't the first and you won't be the last.
Yeah, all those were great. I did catch a couple of others as well.
Yes.
I think early on in the dungeon there was, all of this chest's worldly possessions now reside within your pack. Unless you sold them. You didn't sell them, did you?
I screenshot that one too.
Sitting there with my excess of tier bombs that I'm going to go sell because they are basically useless with the amount of health I have.
I will sell them, don't worry.
Another weirdly dark one, in a weirdly dark corner of the dungeon, was every empty chest we open takes a little bit of my soul with it. Soon I too will be empty. Which I imagine is written by the person who is writing all of these chest messages.
I was going to read that one if you didn't, because I like that one too.
Nice.
But yeah, so we finished the penguin. We get the gem.
Yeah.
The only other thing I have left before we leave the capital, leave for the capital, was that I did another update with our boy Anton, who is still at that fucking gate. Keeping up with the Casanova, lover boy in the burl. And he just goes, I don't really want to throw my life away in a place like this. Anyway, let's get back to the Capitol. So basically just letting you know that now he's going to be in the Capitol. Really useless. I don't even need... I have the achievement already. I am doing this for you, the listener. That's why I'm bothering to go the fuck back to all these places.
Because I am relying on that. Knowing that I'm not going to get an achievement, and also how much backtracking these seem to require, I was like, I'm just going to trust that Lex will take care of it.
I did do one more... I did pop into church. I was doing my rounds of NPCs, but I popped into church, and a guy named Lane was there, one of the engineers, and he says, I was praying so hard, I didn't get any work done. There really is no way to combine religious passion with a social life, so just continuing the deep religious fervor of scientists.
So the 3 options are science, religion, and social life?
Yeah.
You can only pick 2? Which 2 would you pick?
Religion and social life. If in this world... Hell yeah, I want to hang out with these priests. I want to hang out with the member. I want to hang out with Father Kevin, other members of the church who we've met in the future that I won't spoil particularly about, but there are some people who would be really fun to hang out with. So if I lived in Trails, 100% religion and social life. Fuck science. I don't need it. There's other people who are smarter than me. I barely understand how Discord works. Like, we're cool. I'm not gonna get anywhere with that. There's enough women in STEM in Zemuria.
I would go science social, because then I would be such an oddity in the country. Can you imagine what it would be like to be a social butterfly who has like one critical thing not in common with every other person in the entire world?
True.
And yet you're still like deeply social. That would be fascinating and very memorable for everyone who meets you. Just like, oh no, I don't do religion. What? That's an option?
No, but I'm hanging out with the Septian Church people because they can throw a party. We have learned this.
They're definitely an interesting bunch, yeah.
All of them are wild. Also, I really want one of the last games to be set in the holy city of Arteria, and like I would maybe have an invite there. If the games don't get set there, then I'm gonna have to find my own way. So I'll have to befriend all the church people. Now, to be clear, this is not my take on Earth, my choices, but in Zemuria, I'm choosing religion and social life.
Fair.
That was the church, and those are like the only that was, I think, the only interesting NPC interaction I found, or that I took screenshots of at least.
I did like a bit of a lap, but there really wasn't anything going on, so I just went and caught the airship.
Everyone was like, I'm glad the earthquakes are over, or how can they be sure the earthquakes are over, or something like that. Like, it wasn't that exciting. Actually,
the one thing I did notice was the mum who'd been on the balcony trying to optimize her like planter stabilization system.
Right, yes.
Checked in on her. She's still out on the balcony with her kid, and she's like, I mean, I'm glad that they said there's no more earthquakes, but what am I going to do with all of these optimization plans now? I mean, I don't need to build it.
Maybe she's the one who's science and social life. Because she's not in church. She's working on her plants. She's working on decorating her home so that she can, have parties.
Yeah, and the kid's still just kind of like, said it's fine, Mom, we can stop. Otherwise, everyone was pretty much of the same mind. There's just like, earthquake gone is good.
Pretty much, which I can't disagree with. Yeah, we then went and boarded an airship to go to the Capitol.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, had those bits that I love where you get to run around and talk to everybody on the airship. Who'd you talk to first?
So first up, I had Olivier and Chloe out on the deck of the ship.
Oh, that is so interesting, because I had different pairings. Like, that's, Olivier wasn't out there. I have Olivier, but he wasn't there. Chloe was out there. She was with Teoh.
Oh. Well, yeah, it's really nice. As they sort of do the big panning shot coming into the airship as we open this scene, the closer the camera gets to the shot, you actually start hearing Olivier on the lute playing his usual banger. But yeah, he's on the deck playing as Chloe and Sieg stand next to him, just kind of enjoying the music.
Nice.
As I sort of came out to talk to them, Olivier's talking about, oh yeah, I'm giving you a private concert. To which Estelle says, Chloe, remember, you have a sword and you know how to use it.
Oh, that's cute.
Just to kind of keep him as bay. And then I didn't catch the exact line, but Olivier, he tries to come on to Chloe kind of quietly, and Sieg does not take kindly to this.
Mm-hmm.
Takes off from the balcony and starts like flying in laps around Olivier's head.
Oh, I remember that from my first playthrough.
He's just like, ooh-ha, bird, please stop, Sieg. I like that his first is just to like call out the threat in the same way you'd say like fire,
bird. Yeah.
He's just like bird.
After
Sieg calms down, Estelle sort of says, Julia would like fire you out of a cannon into the sun if you even think about it, in reference to trying to like come on to Chloe.
Yeah.
But they just sort of had that little interaction, then they just go back to hanging out. Like Chloe's just honestly enjoying his playing. She's like, you're a good musician, and this is like a good song, so they're just hanging out there, having a great time. Who'd you check in with first?
I checked Jin first, actually.
Oh, right. Is he by himself in yours as well?
Yeah, he gives us a lore dump about Walter. But do you wanna, how about I tell you what happened on deck for me?
Oh, yes, let's do that.
Cheetah and Chloe are hanging out on the deck with Sieg in the middle, like sitting on the railing.
Mm-hmm.
Chloe apparently has helped Cheetah befriend Sieg. Now, so Sieg gives a little heart in his dialogue too, to show that he's Cheetah's a friend.
Nice.
She also invites Cheetah to come to next year's school festival. She's like, hey, the people from the public come, you can come hang out and see everything. And Cheetah's super excited, which is very sweet. Cheetah also mentions that her parents have been gone for 2 years, which is like, damn.
Yes.
Like, she's like 12. So her parents have been gone since she was 10. That's some critical time to completely miss in your child's life.
Yeah, that's wild.
Apparently, Cheetah's mom and her grandpa wrestle about stuff. Like, they argue about stuff, and she goes, yeah, they wrestle each other to the floor all the time. You heard that dialogue at some point?
I got a version of that as well, yeah.
Yep. Her dad was a bracer until 10 years ago, we learn.
Mm-hmm.
And then she explains how airships work, which I think she doesn't.
Right, yeah.
She might do in the other version, yeah. But I'll tell you how it works, listener, if you missed this dialogue or just don't remember or aren't playing along. There is a flight field that keeps airships in the air. It's also why the wind doesn't knock people over. Quote, an orbital flight engine envelops the ship in a field that counteracts gravity, you see. It also has an anti-inertia effect on anything striking the field, and that includes the particles that make up the wind. So it's theoretically like space quartz. Essentially the same idea, like manipulating space. It creates a field around airships that allows it to fly and allows it to counteract the force of gravity, while obviously still having some because, well, we know what anti-gravity looks like, and they wouldn't be standing on the deck. They'd all be floating in the air.
True, yeah.
But yeah, so that's how they work. Who'd you talk to next?
So next up, I had Agate and Tita in the observation lounge.
Makes sense.
So as I came in, the air hostess standing near the door sort of remarks on them. She's sort of been watching them interact, and she's like, those two are very different, but it kind of makes sense that they're siblings, right? Like, she's just like, oh, that's just an older brother, younger sister, and they're different people because of the age gap. She's like, but they really seem to care about each other. So even this woman who's been like watching them for about 20 seconds is like, oh, I see the dynamic here.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I went up and talked to them, Agate remarks on how Estelle is an ADHD child. He's just like, you creeping around the ship again? Man, you just cannot stay still, can you?
She really can't.
She's like, it's not like I'm a cat in a carrier or something. I just, I do get kind of antsy having to sit down and wait. And then he's like, but I thought you flew to Le Local when she went out to do her training. He's like, that's a good half day. You must have worn a rut in the deck. And she's like, well, I was asleep both ways. I was nervous on the way there, and coming back I was wiped out. So I didn't really have to experience that long flight. And I was like, solidarity, I do the same thing on a long flight. Just knock me out. Don't let me be there.
Very valid.
Moving from there, like Tita sort of remarks on what it's like to leave the country. She really wants to do it someday. Maybe she could even go visit her parents.
And that's when she brings up their neglect.
Yeah, and then she's talking about how they've been working on orbital technology in places that don't have it. Been 2 years. And Estelle says, I hope they write you letters or something at least. And it turns out that, once a month they do write a letter to Tita. Sort of they correspond back and forth every month. She mentions that she wrote about Estelle last time.
Yeah, she did say that to me.
And that her parents said in their last response to give their best regards.
Mm-hmm.
And that's very sweet. She's asked, like, what kind of people are your parents? Mum's, like, a really powerful personality. And then talks about the wrestling, which is still kind of just like, wrestling? But they gloss over it and keep moving. And Dad's quiet and reliable, the bracer.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Agate actually says that he talked to Gramps about that while they were on the run. Dad, whose name is Dan, was the real deal back in his day. He had to retire and became an engineer because of an injury that stopped him from working as a bracer. She's like, it'll be great to introduce you to my parents one day, Estelle. And Agate, you'll have to meet them as well. And Agate's like, huh? Why do I have to meet your folks? He's like, well, you get along well with Grandpa. And I wrote about you in my letters. And Mum and Dad said in their reply that they really want to meet you.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, damn. Estelle says, haha, time to pay the piper, huh? And Tita immediately goes into sad girl mode. He's like, I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to. He's like, nah, it's fine. Look, I'll stop by and say hi to him if I'm ever in Zeiss for work, okay? And Tita's overjoyed.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the end of the interaction. It's just like, yeah, my parents know about you and they're really curious to meet you.
Yeah, like, on the one hand, I can get why you're like, who is this adult man who's taking an interest in my 12-year-old child? But on the other hand, Maybe actually, like, be present in your child's life before you get on, like, judging the people who are present in her life.
Judge not lest you be judged, as Idios says.
Exactly. So then you know what? I mean, we're now doing it out of order. I'll tell you about my Olivier experience, because Olivier's hanging out with someone, just not Chloe. He's hanging out with Shira.
Of course.
So I walk into the observation deck lounge area, and the crew member comments on who's there too. They comment on Olivier, saying that he seems like he loves himself a lot.
Yep.
And Olivier is standing up, playing the lute. He's playing Amber Amor, of course, in the observation deck. And Estelle says, "Oh, adios, he escaped his chair." And then she goes up and she's like, "Olivier, seriously, who let you out of your seat?" And Shira says, "Okay, Olivier did beg the steward for permission. There's no harm in it." And Olivier despairs that Shira doesn't really appreciate his music, and then despairs how she rejected his invitation to Elmo Hot Springs last month, and how she was so casual about, like, dismissing him.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, he's like, "I would drink myself under the table for you, Shira, and you won't even go to the hot spring with me." It's tragedy. And Shira laughs and says, "If I actually had time to fool around like that, I'd consider it." And then says, "Besides, I'd never actually drink you under the table deliberately. I just want someone who can match my ... pace. That's all I need from a drinking partner." Heart emoji. And Olivier just has like a ... with like a PTSD face. Estelle goes over to him and goes, "Olivier, Shira doesn't quite get it." And at first I thought this was the real emotion that Estelle is like, "Oh, I think that Olivier has actual feelings for Shira, and Shira doesn't realize that." Like, I thought Estelle was clocking that. But then she goes, "Shira doesn't realize how crazy her drinking speed is, or how her liver is basically the Gehenna of alcohol."
Oh, okay.
And Shira says, "I'm right here, Estelle." And then anyway calls Olivier "my dear Lenheim" again, and says, "If you want to serenade me, you better keep up with me. Besides, I won't damage your liver as badly as Ina will." And Olivier's his whole sprite shivers, like shakes side to side, like a shiver going up his spine. You know, like when a cat's hair stands on end, like that's what he's doing. And he goes, "Oh, please, let us never speak of that night again. The memories alone make my heart quail." And Estelle says in parentheses, "Just what the heck? You know, I actually don't want to know."
Oh, so good. And you know what I'm thinking now as I play through the game? One thing we didn't cover at the start of the episode is a new piece of news about the Trails remake is that Kondo also fully intends to remake second chapter as well.
Yes.
And sort of remarks on the same thing that we mentioned, you know, it's reusing a lot of assets, so there's not as much new stuff to build. And also explicitly said, the fans would murder me if we made the first one and we didn't make the second one.
The translation in the article says the fans would be like, "Are you kidding me?" But somebody I saw who apparently speaks Japanese said that they would have translated it as, "Are you shitting me?" And I love that Kondo was like, "Are you shitting me?"
Another sign that you should promote fans of the series to make the series, because he knows, like, yes, as a fan, I know if you did this to me, I would be so mad. Yeah. So they want to do it, and they don't want it to take as long. They don't want it to be the 3 or 4 years between releases. So within a year is ideal. Yeah,
he wants it explicitly to be less time than it was between the Japanese releases of FC and SC, which was 2 years. I'm hoping that they did a lot of development side by side. Like, I don't want, as much as I want it to be fast, I don't want them to crunch terribly or anything like that. So hopefully they were developing them side by side, at least partially, so they can, it's not too much work to get it out.
Yeah, even things like, we know in this chapter that we'll be exploring new areas of the capital. So there are ways to plan ahead if you know what's in both games, so that you can sort of co-develop in that way. Yeah. Ideally, So fingers crossed in a year's time, we'll be having the same conversation about, wow, isn't it crazy that in like a week or two, second chapter drops?
Yeah, and we know third's coming in a year or something like that. I don't know, they haven't confirmed if they're doing third yet. And that's, I think if they don't do it, they really, really have to find a way to get that on device. Like, I think I could see them not doing it in a way that I couldn't see them not doing SC, because, like, it doesn't follow, like, there's no cliffhanger at the end of SC. It doesn't follow directly the same way. Yeah. I mean, I think they'll likely do it if it sells well.
First and second chapter are two halves of a whole, so it makes sense that they need to be paired.
Exactly.
Third would be a bonus if the series does gangbusters, because then they could continue on to Zero and Azure to get, like, full 3D remakes, which would be amazing.
I'm not actually sure about those. My theory, well, not my theory, sorry. Rob K in Discord's theory is they're also going to do Cold Steel 1 and 2, basically the games they don't have on Switch in English because of the localization things. They might redo the first 2 Cold Steels because they can't get them on modern, I mean, they have them on PlayStation, but there's the XE translated games. Because I think the quality of life stuff in the Crossbell games is really is a huge step above what we have here. And in some ways, it's better than Cold Steel 1 and 2 quality of life stuff.
Even stuff just like the text log, yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're just doing the Taylor's version things to make sure that they...
Yeah, I would love to have all of these like consistently like in a folder on a device. That would be so cool.
Yeah.
But I'd also really love it if they worked through them chronologically, just so that any new fans could be carried along in the same way.
This is
and
true.
On an accelerated timeline compared to what us old fogies did back in the old days to play these games.
That's true. And they don't have English voices in Crossbell games, so there is some motive there. But then, because those games are already in Switch, it's possible that fans who get to the end of a third remake potentially would then be like, oh, well, I can now play Crossbell, it's right here. And they're not as likely.
Yeah, there's an option at least, yeah.
I really have no idea what they're going to do.
Yeah, this is forecasting a long way in the future, but...
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, back to the Cecilia where we were.
Right. So I think we've saved Jin for last. And I imagine it's the same conversation in both games.
Yeah, he's sitting by himself in the seats as well here, so I imagine it is identical.
Yes, so he drops on us. He's lost in thoughts about Walter. Apparently, Walter killed their master/mentor at the dojo place, and Estelle's like, oh my god, and he's like, well, it was a duel. They did agree to fight to the death. He's not looking for revenge. Like, it was fair within, like, the rules of, like, honorable combat of their school. He's, like, respects that. But apparently, Teoh has two styles. One focused on, like, defense and defending others. And it's called, the honorable side of it. It's called the Living Fist. And the other is called the Murderer's Fist. And it's focused on aggression. And apparently, anyone who pursues it eventually becomes, like, a bloodthirsty monster. It, like, corrupts you somehow. Walter killed their master and left. And Jin's been searching for him on and off ever since.
Also of note is that we get a flashback illustration of the three of them at the Teoh school.
Yeah.
And Walter's hair is even worse.
Oh, gosh. Oh, and we do get confirmation that Kilika was the master's daughter. We said that, like, probably... We said that it sounds like that's what he was going to say in the last chapter, but we get it confirmed here.
Yeah, we didn't have to wait long for that to sort of be closed off. Nice to have a bit more backstory. Really, Jin is the only one who hasn't changed much from this photo. Kilika looks so soft and demure here, where she's like a boss bitch now.
Yeah.
Actually, looking at the screenshot right now, the literal only difference with Jin is that his eyebrows are less spiky in his younger version. He has more like carved eyebrows, whereas they're bushy at the end. So basically, he just hasn't been plucking his brows.
Yeah, like I guess he looks a bit younger, but not in any, like, he has not stopped styling himself. Like, he has not changed the way he grooms himself or presents himself. He just maybe looks a bit younger. I do think it's interesting that Walter was supposed to be the senior student and has changed dramatically, since when you'd think that the older you are, the less you change as you get, like, you know.
Yeah.
There's less of a difference between how you look at 25 and 30 than there is at, like, 15 and 20, you know?
And that was about it for the airship, I think. There wasn't really any other NPCs or anything interesting to say as far as I remember.
There was not the pilot, the person steering the ship was singing, which was cute. He was like, immediately restoring correct altitude, ba-da-dum bum bum bum, something like that.
Gotta make the day go by.
Oh, are we done already?
So we should go to the guild first up, because we're responsible.
Yes.
Elnan tells us that apparently what the army wants help with is so sensitive that they won't even explain it over the phone. Someone's going to come and explain it in person. And he gives us some extra info that both the guild and the army encrypt their calls, but they use different encryption systems, so a call between the guild and the army wouldn't be encrypted. And Estelle goes, well, that's ducky.
Yeah, why can't the army just share a mixer scrambler thingamajigger with us? Why won't they give us their, like, codec number so that we can call them? And it's like, well, security concerns, whatever.
Yeah, but we don't want them to be able to listen to our calls, because the army's been bad before.
At which point I was just like, so just find a third frequency. Like, it's not a complicated solution.
This is true.
But apparently that's the barrier, so we have to wait for someone to come and talk to us in person about this situation.
Chloe then explains what the non-aggression pact is to Estelle. Because Elnan thinks it's related to the fact that the signing of that is about to happen. And so she explains that what it is, and Estelle goes, whoa, so it'll, like, end war? I love you, Estelle. I love your optimism. Chloe's like,
so
no,
optimistic, yeah.
It's not that simple. It should be a deterrent, like, it's good, but, no, it's not that simple. And Elnan's pretty sure that the pact signing is going to be a target for Ouroboros to do behaviors of some kind.
Yeah, it makes sense. Because all leader types will be in one spot and easy to mess with.
And it's important, and they like to fuck with things. And the phone rings, though, and it's the villa, the Erbe Royal Villa. And apparently a child's parents have disappeared, and they want help locating this child's parents. And we still have a while before we think the army's going to show up, so we're like, we might as well go and take care of this. There's something I really like throughout this chapter is how the game treats, like, a lost child is just as important as this matter of national security. Like, yes, it is just as bad. It's just as important. And the game, like, everyone is like, yeah, this is also a priority. We can't drop, like, we can't say, oh, the lost child doesn't matter because of this army thing. Like, no. And even, like, later on, army members are like, no, that's important. Like, a lost child's a big deal.
Yeah, it's interesting, like, through this entire section of the chapter that we're playing for this episode, it's constantly weighted evenly with the other big thing that's going on. Like, it's just like, oh, both of these things are concurrently relevant and relevant in every conversation we have, and everyone's fine with it. It's great. So the kid is at the villa with Raymond, who was the butler from the first game, who was Niall's friend, who was hiding in the bar at the villa when we broke in. So we're gonna go see him again.
Yeah, but first I did some running around the city. Had to go catch up.
Me too. So the first thing I noticed was outside of the department store, I ran into Marsha, the girl who's walking laps around the shopping center. And she basically just says, a while back I was being followed around by a man on the stairs in front of the department store. That was creepy and scary. And then she just walks away.
Yeah, and horrifyingly, that same man is back in the same spot. Because it's time for another update in Keeping Up with the Casanova, Lover Boy in the Burl. But Anton says, big sigh, he goes, in the end, everything is as it was. Today, too, I'm pondering. So much pondering. And there's a bunch of O's for the so. No job, no girlfriend. I wonder if my life has a purpose. I go talk to his friend Ricky with him, and Ricky goes, that cloud, it looks like Duke Dunan's hairstyle.
Yeah, I saw that one. It's just like, haha, look, isn't it? It's a funny cloud, haha. And Anton's just like, woe is me, live journal.
Now, another thing I need to update you on, because actually I'm going to need your input, your help on this.
Oh, okay.
So there's a weird achievement in this game when you talk to there's a few pigeons.
Yes, right.
That have, like, names. I mean, they all have breakfast names, and a few of them, if you talk to those three, you get an achievement. But that's not the one I'm interested in here. One of the pigeons in front of the church, or the cathedral, I think is speaking cat.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to send you the screenshot, but he's saying Nyaon Fumya. And I think those are both things Antoine has said.
Okay, let us consult the translation dictionary. We have Nyaon, which is, who are you? And then Fumya is a yawn.
Ah!
So that is a pigeon saying, who are you? Oh.
And it has like a little circle, like it's dazed, and it says that. So yeah, this pigeon speaks cat, which clearly it's so confused it's speaking cat instead of pigeon. Oh my god.
Okay, that's cute. And I love that they actually translated it to something real.
That's so great.
Oh, man, this dictionary is so useful.
It is. The one that you need to talk to for the achievement for people following along is called Golden Toast. That's the one in front of the, that's the first of the three, but Golden Toast, who just chirps. Not nearly as interesting as Pastry the Pigeon, who is clearly the best pigeon in the burrow. He speaks cat.
That is a cross-disciplinary pigeon.
I also, while at the cathedral, went in, talked to the Archbishop, who he sees Estelle, and he goes, are you the one he spoke of? Which makes me wonder if Joshua has stopped by or something. Did Joshua come for confession before doing all this or something? Like, I don't know, but that got me interested.
One thing I did check, because we've had a couple of cutscenes that have occurred in key locations from last game, I stopped by the rest area above the department store.
I did too.
Where we had our lovely little chat last game. There is nothing that happens here, but there is a tourist woman sitting on one of the benches, and she just says to herself, haha, this is quite the secret spot. You don't know the half of it, lady. So yeah, no cutscene in the rest area. I also checked the ice cream stand where Estelle ran to get ice cream just in case there was something over there. Nothing there either. A little bit sad that there was nothing occurring there.
Yeah.
But one other thing I did notice is just outside of the museum was Jimmy is hanging out there.
Oh yeah.
Having finished his quest, he's just about to head in and hand over his artifact. He's turning it in like it's an SCP because it could be dangerous. cool to see him there sort of hanging out. I assume he just would have been absent if you didn't do the side quest.
Must have been, yeah.
While I was at the museum, I decided to head inside as well, thinking of finding old sort of references to the first game. And I did chat to a guy upstairs at the museum, I believe the museum director.
Yes!
He says that he misses Professor Alba and his septarian theories. Mentions that he was investigating the towers and wonders what might have come of that. At which point Estelle says, Professor Alba, that almost sounds familiar, but not really. So she can't recall who Professor Alba is at all. She says, who was that? It seems familiar.
What I have written down is, Professor Alba, who was that? It sounds familiar. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I love that she can't remember him at all. Not just that she can't remember that she met him, right before Joshua started acting weird, but, his whole existence has been wiped from her memory.
Interesting.
I got way too much dialogue. So there are two ladies having lunch on the patio of the coffee shop that we've deemed LeBlanc because it's a Korean coffee place.
Oh, yes.
And one of the ladies says to the other, calling yourself a maiden? How very like you. It's just brutal line.
Damn, girl.
Also, when I went into the LeBlanc and checked the menu, it has a snack called Nap Killer, and the description is, just one sip and ... and then in all caps, feel the power of caffeine, and it cures sleep.
Okay.
And I love that. We went to the port, because the port is open. It was closed in the first game.
Yes, that surprised me.
It had been closed down by the Spops guys, but it's open now. There's a bunch of stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
There's a dock worker who says, so this guy just came up to me a while ago and bam, I got a fishing rod. Don't know why, but if someone wants to give me free stuff, I ain't saying no. So Lloyd is just like ambushing people with his fishing rods.
Somewhere.
We also found Filio.
Yes.
With the guy who we beat in the gambling side quest is also there. He works at the port in the warehouse-ish, receptionist thing. And he's like, oh my god, you're the people who beat me at the casino in the Burrow. And they also have a lighthouse that looks exactly like the one in Rouen, I noticed, but I can't read the plaque.
I did notice that as well, yeah.
And generally, everyone in this port is, really nice. Everyone's there either saying, either being like, do you want to see how I do my work here? Or saying something like, you're welcome to be here, just please don't get in the way of my work. That's the rudest thing anyone says is, please don't get in the way of my work, but feel free to walk around.
There is one upsetting thing in this port, though.
Oh.
And it's that I found a mother and daughter.
Yeah!
The mother is standing by the waterfront saying, oh shit, I've lost my kid, where is she? And then just around the corner, you find the kid saying, Mummy, Mummy, where are you? And you can't do anything about it.
I know.
How cruel. It's not a hook for a side quest, unless it's in the second half of this chapter. I went back and forth between the two of them in case there would be new dialogue because I'd interacted with the other. Nothing. They're just stuck there forever, separated and anxious.
It's upsetting. I'm just I have to believe that they'll be able to that they're so close to each other, they will find each other. For my peace of mind, I have to believe that.
Yeah, you gotta hope.
A few other things I noticed are that, I was stopped in the hotel, and, the hotel clerk is named Fritz, and Estelle thinks to herself that he doesn't look well, and there's no follow-up on that, but it feels like it has to be set up for something.
One thing I did catch was that the sale sign on that random house out behind LeBlanc has changed since the last game.
Yes.
It now says, house for sale, also zoned for food service.
Yes.
Where it said previously that it might be a good spot for a restaurant or something.
Yeah.
So I'm just I'm waiting for some restaurant to open there. Come on, when's it going to happen? I'm putting all my chips on this one.
Oh, right, I found what it was. So, there's this lady walking around on the main street, and her name is Noel. I don't think she's related to Noel Seeker from the Crossbell games, but same name. But she says, I tell this to everyone, but the garden terrace in the castle catches the breeze from Lake Valyria, and the smell of the greenery there is just so relaxing. And then you get a shot of Estelle making a really sad face going ... And it was just oh wow, it's so easily missable.
Oh, yeah, I didn't catch that one. I think so maybe bad. I forgot to go into the hotel at all.
It was outside of the hotel, but yeah.
Yeah, the North Block, I don't think I explored that thoroughly at all so far, so I'll have to do some laps later on, see what's happening.
Is this when you go into the sewer, or is that not until later?
Oh, I did do the sewer. You can do the sewer section behind LeBlanc.
Yeah, I think it was at this point, but I don't know if I wrote notes about it there. So I'm like, wait, was it later or was it now? Well, let's just talk about it now because there's very little to say.
There is, yeah. I did try to get into the sewers over in the east block near the arena, and it was barred off. So I was surprised to find that the one in the west block was not blocked off.
Yeah, and there's a guard outside who's like, oh, you can go in. Just careful, but you can go in.
Yeah, this one's fine. So yeah, there's not much to do in there other than run around and get some treasure chests, fill in your combat notebook.
But there are some great messages.
But there are some good messages. So do you have a top 3?
Yeah. For every extra item you take from a treasure chest, a creepy sheep is sheared.
Yeah. As they should be. Those sheep suck.
Well, maybe the creepy sheeps are creepier if they're sheared. Maybe they're even creepier looking.
Oh, true. A skin sheep. That would be bad. Yeah.
Yeah. You open the chest to find a bandanaed man hiding inside. Just kidding, it's
Yep.
empty.
Traveling with a bandanaed man, I was like, oh god, another one.
Yeah, I was like, without him, I'm like, oh, this is where Agate's been all along. What about you? I'll only say 2 because there aren't that many, so you can give your top. Don't want to overlap.
I only had one other,
Oh.
which was you open the chest to find hundreds of hissing snakes and immediately close it again. Good thing you already got whatever item was in there.
That was good. I did have one more in that case, so I will go for a top 3, which was you find a message scratched along the bottom. Loot this chest and do your worst, but be warned, for ye be cursed.
They're having fun with him again.
They did. A few other NPCs, because I really talked to every NPC in Grancel, so I got a lot. I went to General Morgan's house, and
oh, yeah, I went there a bit later, yeah.
a bit later, yeah, but when I went there earlier, you talked to his maid, who says, the good sir, General Morgan, can be a very scary person. And then she says, but you know what? He. And then in much smaller font, he's totally under his wife's thumb. I thought that was
Hey.
And then I found
Good. He should be.
some guy, another rich guy, like in a rich house. It says, even though fishing is my passion, my wife beat me in joining the Fisherman's Guild.
Oh.
My humiliation is deep and profound. And then I went upstairs and talked to his wife, and she says that her husband is always busy working, and never has time for her, and that's why I decided to take my husband down a peg by beating him at his own hobby. So that's why she joined the guild, to show him up, and then she gave me a fishing rod.
Interesting, because I saw later interactions with these same 2 characters that were different.
Aha.
That sort of extend that storyline.
I think, yeah, I remember at least one later.
Yeah, so later on after some more story events, I visited the house, went upstairs to find just the wife home, and she's sitting there saying, I bought a new fishing rod to get an edge over my husband. Now I'll beat him and be the best fisher person. And she gives you her old rod because she doesn't have space for it. So that's how I got my first new fishing rod, the bamboo rod.
It's like my 4th.
Yeah, every time there's been a fishing hole that I've spotted, I've tried to fish, still not caught a single thing. It's wild.
There's clearly something wrong, and it's very sad.
I'm gonna have to try with my bamboo rod, see if it makes any difference, because I cannot seem to get it.
I don't know if it will, because I think the rods just affect what bait you use. I think it's an input thing on your end, because it's not usually hard.
Womp womp.
So sad.
So yeah, she's talking about that. She gives me the bamboo rod, and then I was in the castle after that, and I found him in like the day-to-day operations room.
Yeah.
And he's just like, oh, I hate being at work. I just know my wife is getting to be a better fisher person than I am right now, and I want to be the one who wins. So It's great that they're both just like plotting all day to try and like fish gooder than each other.
Yeah, just try to undermine each other. That's what marriage is all about, isn't it?
Exactly.
A few other gems. Oh, I went to the department store, and apparently a person who is apparently the Duke's butler, Duke Dunan's butler, comes and shops here at the store from time to time.
Yeah.
But for some reason, he always just buys donuts and comics. Donuts make sense, but I'm surprised that he buys comics. I guess Duke Dunan must listen to In Sequence on TWG Network. But no, I guess I didn't know they had comics in Zemuria, but apparently they do, and Duke Dunan's a fan.
Yeah, interesting. Because I heard about it later, and they were instead referred to as magazines to try and make them sound more sort of smart.
I guess. But, and one more thing that, well, okay, I don't know if this is one more thing. There may be more things. But I did buy a paper, and they talk about the new model engine in it, and they say that the new engine will increase the Arcee's cruising speed to 3,200 cells an hour. So we need to go do our math.
3,200 meters. That is 320 kilometers an hour.
That's a lot of kilometers an hour.
That's fast. How fast do plane go?
This is cruising speed, so that's not their top speed, I don't think.
Hey, Iris, how fast do plane go? Commercial planes can travel between 550 and 600 miles per hour? That's 885 kilometers an hour. Okay, so plane can go much faster than airship, that makes sense.
Yes, but airships seem to be leisurely.
But 320 kilometers an hour, they would finally be able to outstrip Sieg, get there faster than the bird.
They would. Also, given that they don't have cars yet, that's pretty impressive.
True. Really zipping along in the air. I bet the invention of the car didn't really feel that exciting by comparison. It's like, oh, we can go really slow on the ground? Cool.
Yeah. But that's all I got around Grancel before heading off to the villa. Did you have anything else from Grancel to catch up on?
Not really. I did a pretty bare bones run around at this stage in Grancel because I figured I'd be circling back anyway. But the only other thing is I did a sort of a round along Royal Avenue and the Royal Villa Road. What is it called? I did do the run around just to sort of get the treasure chests.
Oh yeah.
There were a couple of cute ones.
There were some good ones. Yeah. Go ahead.
The first one I had was, I waited 4 years for this game and all I got was this stupid chest message.
Yeah.
A nice little nod to how long a gap there was between first and second chapter being localized.
Yeah.
What else? One that I found behind one of the color-coded monuments along the road.
Yes.
Was, wear good shoes and you'll never see defeat.
Yeah. Any others you want to highlight, or?
Don't want to see defeat? Put on de shoes.
Yeah.
The one other one I had was, you don't find anything this time, but maybe if you kept on opening and closing this one chest over and over again, and then in brackets it says, don't actually do this.
Yeah.
So that one is a fun nod because there are RPGs out there, and I can't recall any of them immediately because I've rage blanked them from my mind, where it's a thing that you will get, an achievement or an Easter egg, but only if you interact with this character or this object 100 times.
Yes.
And they're just like, haha, it'd be funny if, but don't, because it's not.
Yeah.
I appreciate that extra layer. It helps me.
I agree. I've got, it feels very much in line with the playground rumor chest message.
Oh, yeah.
I got, the chest unleashes a poison gas trap. At least it would if it could, because you looted it already and it hates you now. And then there was, as payment for taking my stuff, you must cut down the tallest tree in the forest with a herring.
I saw that one. I was like, okay. Yep. Haha.
I was like, that was just silly.
It's a herring. Is it red? Who knows?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. But then I got to the villa.
Yes.
And we get a nice big shot panning over the pretty villa because it's a pretty place. I'm excited to see it in remake, actually.
Yeah.
And it still says, the Royal Villa, this is sort of nostalgic in a that was an awesome adventure kind of way. And then we go in and go to ask about who this child and meet Raymond, who tells us they lost the lost child. So we find out that they lost little girl. She likes playing hide and seek, and she just decided to play hide and seek. Raymond says that he gets the vibe. She kind of likes messing with the adults around her.
Yeah.
Tita also seems... So at my party at this point, I have Shira and Estelle, and then I have Olivier and Tita. And Tita seems really excited to meet this kid. She's, really excited. It's, quite cute. Mm-hmm. But, so we're like, I guess we gotta go find her. Olivier says, a prank-loving kitten, then. So more conversation than he just calls girls kittens. Yeah, and then we go into... Because there's, 2 courtyards, right? And so we go back into the second courtyard. There, you can go to the first room on the left if you like. I think that's what you were getting at?
Yes, it is. I actually came and did this scene twice, so I'm curious. When you did this scene, did you have Chloe with you, or did you not?
No, and I wanted to do it with Chloe after, but I didn't have the mental bandwidth to rerun all the way.
I got you covered.
Thank
because
you!
I made a save directly outside the villa before I walked in, because I thought it'd be a point of no return, so I was able to backtrack and swap parties.
Oh, very nice.
Because when you walk into the first room on the left in the Erbe Royal Villa, you find someone who's been under house arrest at the Erbe Royal Villa for a while. It's
Mr. Horrible Hairstyle.
Our favorite royal, Mr. Horrible Hairstyle in the Clouds himself. It is Duke Doonan. And as he's standing there, he's saying, Philip, where are my magazines and donuts?
The thing is, he might be saying magazines to make it sound more classy than comics, but to me it just sounds like it's a dirty magazine.
100%, yeah. Yes, he's like, where's my pornos and donuts?
Exactly. That's it. So basically what I know is that when I go without Chloe, he basically just talks shit about Chloe the whole time. and is saying that, he respects the queen, he thinks she's a good leader, but it's Chloe that he has a problem with. And he's just talking so much shit, and Estelle gets so mad. He starts off by basically being mad at us. He's like, you fucking stole everything from me, you people. I hate you. You're those awful ones. Olivia has an interesting line where, because Duke Dunan's like, you need to treat me with more respect because of my royal status, something along those lines. And Olivia goes, were this Erebonia, your nobility would only serve to speed you to the gallows, which is fun.
Very interesting. But yeah, I find it interesting in this version of the scene. He's talking about how, sure, Chloe has the potential to rule, but she doesn't have the drive.
Yeah.
She doesn't do public appearances, so she's not as popular with the commoners as he is, because he's always out and about being a problem for everyone.
Yeah.
And she's never demonstrated that she's ready to stand above others.
Yeah, which is a weird way to put it. But Estelle gets really mad.
Oh yeah, she comes to his defense hardcore.
She says some things about Chloe, but I missed the first screenshot that I wanted, but then she goes, she sure as hell is doing a lot more than some duke who sits around doing nothing because he's under house arrest. You can judge whether Chloe can be a queen once she's found her answer. So basically saying, like, Chloe hasn't decided if she wants to be queen or not, so how dare you start saying whether or not she's even capable of it, or, like, whether she, But what happened when you brought Chloe?
So with Chloe in the party, the scene is similar, but there are a few deviations. Firstly, when it starts up, and he both versions, he sort of goes, you, when he sees you walk into the room. But in this one, he specifically remarks on Claudia. He calls her Claudia, not Chloe.
Yeah.
And that she has no shame being here. That it's this big affront to him. But she used to live here until very recently. She was, like, under house arrest here also. So
yeah.
You don't have dibs, my guy. So then the scene sort of plays out the same until it gets to the point where he says that she has no right being heir, at which point she agrees that she's never been ready to take the throne, but that traveling with Estelle is the best thing for her because she's trying her best to find her own path while assisting Estelle on hers. And she thinks that by the end of Estelle's journey, she'll know for sure whether or not she has what it takes to be a leader. Yeah, she's kind of very different. She's like, yeah, you're right, uncle. Like, I'm the worst. I'm bad. She's very kind of capitulating to it, which is a bit unfortunate.
Yeah.
But in the same way, Estelle sort of jumps to her defense and says all the lovely things. And she sort of says, hey, Estelle, I appreciate it. But he does make some decent points.
Yeah, Olivier says that when she's not there, that he has a point. That doesn't mean Olivier agrees, but, like, that there is a point to what he's saying, and that, like, there's a lot of responsibility that comes with leading a country.
So stepping outside, they're sort of unpacking what just happened. Chloe, says his criticisms are reasonable, and then I was traveling with her and Jin in this version.
Yeah.
So Jin was the one who says that no man, woman, or child thinks that he's the better option over her.
Yeah.
Which is lovely and very reassuring. She's like, thanks. All right, let's move on. So yeah, not a huge change, but it does give her a little bit more agency to kind of... That's
nice, yeah.
...state what she's doing traveling alongside Estelle that you wouldn't get otherwise.
Yeah, I like that.
She's not avoiding her responsibility. She's like, no, this is like a field test to see if I'm good.
This is my, my soul searching or whatever, a little bit.
But yeah, now I took a pretty speedrun approach to this villa section, so I don't know if you ran around doing anything else.
Not before the next bit, but then after that I did do a lot of running around. But I first went, because I was worried that, because I know that depending how long it takes you to find the lost child, it can affect apparently how much BP you get.
Yes.
So I was like, let's go get the child immediately.
I had to do a bit of research on this because the guide I'd been using kind of got to this point and said, like, it affects your BP, but I don't really understand how. What I've managed to sort of determine is that you can go around checking, like, objects like vases or, like, potted plants or whatever to see if this preteen in a white dress with a black ribbon is hiding anywhere. We know that she likes to mess with adults, but it seems like if you check too many places, or most critically, you ask for help from the guy at the bar, that will lower your BP. So if you want to, like, maximize your BP with no interruption, your optimal path is to talk to Duke Dunan, have the scene with him, and then immediately go to the spot where the child is hiding.
Yes.
Without interacting with anything or anyone else in between. So I'm sure there's some flavor text if you are checking those other spots. I didn't get it because I immediately went to the lounge.
BP is life.
BP is life, and I cannot sacrifice a single point. So I went into the lounge, and behind the bar, if you check the row of bottles, you will find a preteen girl in a white dress with a black ribbon hiding underneath the bar.
Yeah, I think we find out during this episode that she's 11. Exactly. It's Ren, yeah. She says that the reason she hid was because she knew Estelle was the one coming and she wanted to play hide and seek with Estelle. And Estelle's like, that kind of doesn't make sense. Like, how would you? They didn't even know I was the one coming. And she's like, well, I heard it was Bracer. I knew it would be you. Estelle's like, well, no, but I mean, I guess you weren't wrong, but it could have not been me. But then Shara tries to get to the point and asks where Ren's parents went. And in my game, Ren goes back to don't you get cold with your belly out like that?
In my version, it's Agate who says the line, and she just says, enough out of you.
That's funny.
You don't know how to talk to a lady properly, but I'll forgive you this one time.
She also says something weird about Shara after. She goes that Shara must be from the south, across the sea, judging by her skin color. And that does not track with later Trails world building. First of all, because we've met lots of people with Shara's skin color darker from east, like the central east. But we know that there are people with Shara's skin color in other parts of Trails world. So clearly, that seems like something that they just didn't have the whole world building figured out yet at this early stage.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, we finally get Ren to talk about her parents after pushing.
Yeah.
She says she doesn't know where they went. She came here with her parents to play. Like, remember, they're tourists. They're traveling from out of the country. She came to play. And then apparently her dad said that I have to leave to do something important. I'll come back for you later, so be a good girl until then. And everyone's really floored by this. Yeah. Estelle just says, what the hell? And Cheryl's like, this is quite a bit worse than I imagined. And it's like, that's like the most, because like, she's been abandoned. Whether something really urgent somehow came up and they thought, oh, she'll be safer here than if we leave her somewhere else, or whether, like, presumably, like, obviously the reaction you get when you hear a child say, without understanding that what they're saying is my parents abandoned me. Yeah. Like, that's, the fact that it happened, and the fact that the child seemingly does not understand that, or doesn't conceptualize that, like, that would be a 1-2 punch for any adult to hear.
Yeesh, it seems like things are really bad.
Yeah.
So basically, Estelle says, this is bad. We should take you back to the guild so we can figure this out. And Ren takes some convincing. She's like, oh, my parents said to wait here, though. It's like, it's fine. Like, and I think they say that the villa will definitely contact them by phone if the parents show up.
I got a little dialogue I just wanted to flag because I thought it was cute, where Estelle goes, Shara, like, when deciding what to do, Estelle goes, Shara, do you think we should? And Shara goes, you don't even need to ask. I'd never leave for here like that, which is very sweet.
That is nice. I believe in my version, Estelle just sort of comes out and says, like, this is what we're going to do. And Agate is like, absolutely. She doesn't sort of question. Again, just an interesting little bit of flavor, because obviously she's so used to deferring to Shara as sort of the mentor-teacher type. Yeah. That it's probably instinctive. Whereas with Agate, she's sort of being forced to take the leadership role more. Yeah. I don't think it's going to make any major changes down the way, but it is just kind of interesting that it's like either thrown out of the nest or just like Mama Duck doesn't want to talk to you anymore. You have to choose.
Yeah. So after we collect Ren, I ran around and talked to a bunch of people now that I had Ren. Yep. And I found some fun stuff. Okay. There was a couple in the courtyard, like an adult couple, who are role-playing as a prince and a princess, which is really funny. You've got this, the man goes, princess, for you, and the woman goes, we mustn't, my prince, the servants are watching. Ooh. And they're like grown-up sprites, so they're clearly just like role-playing in the middle of this tourist attraction, which is like good for them, I guess.
That's funny because some of the NPCs that I did check in with, I think in the pre-courtyard before you go into the main villa. Yeah. It was parents with a kid or 2 kids, and they're talking about, this is such a family-friendly place to go with your family. Yeah. Because it's so chill and nice. And then, like, a room away is, like, a horny couple who is like, ooh, I'm going to royally bone you.
I love it. There's that little museum-ish area of, like, nice things. Oh, yeah. I went to check out the throne. You can't sit on it still, but there's someone standing in front of it comments that the throne belonged to the late Edgar III, and it says, so no wonder the imprint that his butt has left in the throne, it leaves quite the impression. Okay. The throne wasn't ready for this jelly, Matt.
Apparently not, if the indent is still there to this day. Yeah. Damn.
I also took Ren to meet Duke Dunan. I don't know if you did that.
I didn't even think to. What happens?
It's great. So she just looks at him and he goes, why do you have a funny hairstyle? And he gets super offended.
Hey.
Like, he's offended.
Nice.
So I come in, he's like, why are you back, to Estelle? Then Ren goes, why do you have a funny hairstyle? It's like, oh my god, you brought this child too. Estelle says, it's not just his hair that's funny, but his clothes and his manners too. And Duke Jr. goes, what kind of lesson is that? And he just yells at us, take this child and leave.
Perfect.
She goes, why does this odd man have such a funny hairstyle? And Duke Jr. goes, odd man? Funny hairstyle? He's just so mad. She's just fucking with him. It's so great. She and Estelle are tag teaming him. It's hilarious. There's also a senator from Calvard in another room.
Okay.
And he's like, my wife doesn't understand politics. She just wants to tour the Capitol. The wife says, my husband's too naive to realize that a senator of his standing would never actually be needed to attend the signing ceremony. But at least I got a vacation out of his naive folly, which I thought was quite funny. Also, the next pigeon for the achievement is in the courtyard. This is Eggs the pigeon. Nobody speaks cat, so nobody cares. That's all I really had from the villa. Do you have anything else in the villa?
No, like, I fully forgot to tour around the villa, other than, like, those people in the first courtyard. So I pretty much headed straight out. What did happen is immediately outside, because I headed out and left towards Royal Avenue, rather than going the long way, and I ran into Butler Philip.
So did I.
On his way back from the department store.
Yep.
So we had a little conversation with them. At this point, I still had Chloe in my party as well, because I'd done the second version of the conversation with Doonan. So when they run into each other, he basically pre-apologizes for Duke Doonan. He's like, oh, were you just at the villa? I'm assuming he did something bad. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
Then Chloe, in chatting about it, is like, yes, he seemed okay. It has been a bit awkward since the unpleasantness, referring to the coup.
The unpleasantness. Yeah. That's one way to refer to him trying to forcibly marry you off at 16 and overthrow your country.
After they sort of had that little chat where he's like, all right, I've got to go take care of the Duke. Sorry, bye. Estelle asks Chloe more about Butler Philip, and she tells him that he's been a retainer to Duke Doonan for the last 20 years, but that he was a big hotshot in the Royal Army before that.
Yeah.
As we're leaving the scene, Ren mumbles to herself that he's not to be underestimated.
Yeah, she says, you really shouldn't underestimate him. Even I can tell he's not just any old guy. And everyone goes, what? And Ren goes, like how he can walk with his eyes closed. Covering up. And they go, his eyes aren't closed, they're just narrowed, which... Is that true of everyone who walks around with their eyes closed? Is that true of Alba? Was his eyes narrowed? Like, I get that that's the impression, but it's also funny to think about. So that's what we learned on our trip to the villa, on our field trip. I went back to Grancel, and for me, Olivier goes very, chivalrously, offers Ren, he's like, well, milady, please lend me your hand, and we'll show you to the guild house type of thing. Okay. And Ren wants Estelle to hold her hand instead, and Olivier is very disappointed. Ren does read really young for an 11-year-old kid, like, deliberately so, but most 11-year-olds are like, I want to play hide and seek, and I want to hold your hand. Like, even not all 11-year-olds are trying to be older than they are, but none of them are trying to be younger than they are, Like, that's... Yeah. You're like in 6th, 7th grade over here. You're at least experiencing some inkling of pubescence, even if you haven't really hit puberty yet.
Yeah, she's definitely playing a bit young.
Especially interesting next to Tita, who is obviously a very precocious, even though they're only a year apart, I think, because Tita's 12 and Ren, they say, is 11.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I didn't have that moment because I was coming back with Chloe and Jin at this point. She does want to sort of hang out with Estelle specifically, but I don't think there's any fighting over who gets to hold hands.
Yeah.
But yeah, I headed into the guild where Sid was waiting for us.
Yes.
Hanging out, chatting to our Left Behind party members.
Estelle asks Ren to go wait upstairs while they chat, and Ren's upset. She says, you're just like with Papa. He's always work, work, work. And Estelle takes this pretty badly. Like, Estelle is clearly like, oh shit. And Tita is to the rescue. Because Tita says, why don't you come and play with me? Let's go play upstairs while we wait. Tita's like, I really want to get to... And it seems that Tita really wants to get to know Ren, right? Like, she seems really excited about another kid her age. It does, again, feel a bit young. Like, 11 and 12-year-olds don't really, like, go play together. Like, that's not what you would call it. Like, maybe, like, let's go hang out. It's not like you're so old that you wouldn't go hang out with the kids at, like, a family event instead of sitting with the adults. Like, you are still, like, young enough that, want to hang out with someone your own age, but you probably don't want to call it playing at that age, you know?
Probably not, no.
And then finally we can get to business.
So Sid's here to be sort of our on-the-ground correspondent about this can't talk about it over the phone situation, our investigation that we're being tasked with. And basically there's been a series of incidents for us to investigate, which is that a number of parties have received a threat letter telling them not to go ahead with the signing of the treaty.
They call this a pact of deceit and false compromise. And they said, great disaster will be visited upon you, yeah.
But it was sent to a huge number of people, so there were 9 letters sent out in total. So we had Leiston Fortress, the Airship Company, Grancel Cathedral, the hotel in Grancel.
Because there's only one in the capital city. That's always so funny.
The Labelle News Office, both embassies, the Calvard and Erebonian ones, the Erbe Royal Villa, and lastly, Grancel Castle itself. So they're hitting everyone. It's unclear who sent them, but he wants us to investigate all the locations and just find leads so that we have more to work with.
Yeah. The number of letters sent is why he thinks it's more than a prank. Like, he wasn't... Because it's such a generic threat, he wouldn't have taken it so seriously if it had only been one. But that many is like, damn, someone's committed.
So the army is going to take care of Leiston Fortress and Erbe Royal Villa.
Yeah.
But they need our help to do the other 7, because without an intelligence division, they're struggling to gather intelligence.
Yeah, funny how that works. We also get Shara comments that some of those locations have nothing to do with the signing. And then Sid says this is not true. Airship companies are sending charter vessels to escort international officials. They're all going to be staying at this hotel, the Roenbaum.
Yep.
The Archbishop is going to be an observer at the signing, so that brings the church into it. The Liberal News has been preparing a special report on the pact for weeks. So all of them do have something to do with it. Some are more direct than others.
So yeah, we're to investigate everything. Estelle is reluctant to help while she's mid-case with trying to find Ren's parents.
Yeah.
But Elnan reigns the point that a lot of these places we can kill 2 birds with one stone. We can ask about both things.
Yeah.
We can check in at the embassies to see if they have any information about the parents.
Yes.
He also confirms that they were able to get the names from Ren in the end.
Yes.
The parents' names are Harold and Sophia Hayworth. Harold is a trader from Crossbell, so they are Crossbellans. And we have the names, so we can check in with the other embassies to see any dealings with a trader. They probably stay at the hotel because there is no other option.
And Ren, I think, has said that they had been staying there before, so we'll see if they...
Yes.
Oh, right. For listeners who haven't... Because I'm not sure if the name Crossbell has come up yet in the actual main game. So Crossbell, for if you don't know, is a small city-state that's between Erebonia and Calvard. It's like northeast, I guess, of the borough. But it's a small city-state that there's a conflict over jurisdiction over who has a claim to it. But that's where it is geographically.
Yeah, so it is interesting that this peace treaty involves Erebonia and Calvard on either side of Crossbell as well as Liberl, but doesn't include Crossbell itself, because the ongoing dispute is whether Erebonia or Calvard get dibs on Crossbell, or, as the third option, Crossbell wants to be independent.
Yeah, we're going to hear more about this later in the chapter. We're going to get into it more, but that's the general gist of it. But also, like, in order to get to Liberl from Crossbell, you have to go through either Erebonia or Calvard, so that makes sense for why the embassies, even though they're not from either of those countries, like... They would have to have some dealing with one of those 2 countries to even get here, or to get back to Crossbell if they go back there. So,
yeah, and when we first met Ren with her parents at Air Lettengate, she'd mentioned that they'd flown in on an airship. So, Airship Company sounds like a good place to check as well. Pretty much every option that we have on that list is a good place to check.
Yeah,
except for the ones that the army's taking care of for us, so we don't have to worry about them.
Yeah, it's super convenient. I love how SideQuest design works.
Yeah. We then further divide up our list because 7 places would be a lot even for a Trails game to ask you to go check.
Yes.
So in my version, Agate is going to go on his own and do the Airship Company, the hotel, and the cathedral.
Yep.
While we will do the embassies, the castle, and Labelle News. And Tita and Ren will stay at the guild house just in case the parents show up or they call in with any information or anything like that.
Yeah. I did want to point out that apparently the new, just a little earlier, Sid tells us that the general plan from the top brass is that since there's no intelligence division right now, they're going to rely on the guild to help with as many matters as possible. And Estelle goes, oh, really? Thanks a heap, Dad. So I love that the orders, her dad has just made it like national military policy to make Estelle the pack mule.
A perfect dadding.
We also learned, Estelle points out here that she's really freaked out about this Ren's parents thing because she met Ren with her parents. She met her parents before and they seemed loving. So Estelle's thinking something really serious happened to make them leave her.
Yeah.
Ellen suggests maybe they got entangled in something dangerous, wanted to keep the child out of it. But it's also unclear, right? Like Estelle could also have rose-colored glasses and be like, they seem like a happy family. I'm sure they didn't do it on purpose, or they wouldn't do it. Like, it's possible that, you know, she's also seeing the best in people and being naive about, like, we don't know yet, but I found that interesting. But yeah, so we split up the way you said. Tina and Ren announced that they want to go to the department store instead of sticking around. And they give double doe eyes, as Estelle puts it, and she can't resist it. And then she goes, as they leave, she goes, it's really easy to become friends at that age. Man, youth, I feel all old now. I'm like, Estelle, you're 16, shut up. Also, she makes friends so fast. Look at how Chloe and her were best friends in 20 seconds. Like, come on.
So yes, it's urgent that we go and investigate all these locations to find out what's happened to her parents. So the first thing I did was go do a side quest.
Of course, that's how you gotta do it.
So this quest comes up is the missing exhibit. Mm-hmm. We're tasked to head to the history museum where apparently something has been stolen.
Yeah, it's no good.
So I showed up, I went upstairs to actually that same guy that I talked to before who told me about that professor I couldn't remember. The museum director, he shows us that the painting of the Arcee is gone.
My gosh.
And wouldn't you fucking know it, a note was left behind.
Yep. Fucking course.
Okay. This guy cannot leave us alone, this game. It's fucking Blue Blanc again.
He's so obsessed with us.
What is his job that he has so much free time to go around setting up these scavenger hunts for us?
He's independently wealthy.
As soon as I got this note, I was just like, oh my god, Blue Blanc again, as I stopped to type my notes. And then I continued on to the dialogue, which is Estelle and co all saying, oh my god, Blue Blanc again. They're just like, yep, sounds like him. So our first note that was left at the History Museum begins. Oh, beauteous princess and her loyal companions, the image of the proud white falcon has fallen into my hands. Should you seek it, then answer my challenge. The first key is in the residence of the aged general. Search the onlooker of time.
XOXO Gossip Girl. And again, the onlooker of time is in square brackets, the way that same as in the past quest.
Yeah, he likes to clearly define his proper nouns for us. Yeah, Estelle's just like, him again. So this one has us running all over Grancel. The aged general is pretty clear.
General Morgan.
As we already visited General Morgan's house, thanks to yourself.
Yeah, and there's a grandfather clock in there.
And there's a grandfather clock, so I head upstairs and interacted with that. I like that in the dialogue, they say they specifically asked for permission to open up the grandfather clock.
Yes, good.
I also had a cute line from his wife, Katrina, downstairs, who says that General Morgan has been talking a lot about braces lately for someone who hates them so much. So Sounds like Cassius is having an effect on him. But in any case, we crack open the grandfather clock and inside find a second note. No actual key. This is the weird thing. He keeps talking about keys, but there's no... I thought we were finding multiple keys for a lock or something. But he's just like, by key, he means clue.
Yeah.
And he just got confused. So anyway, our first key reads... The second key is in the city. Seek the symbol perched on the ground. And that's the entire note. He's just really tired at this point. He's as tired of doing this as we are, but he's still pushing forward. It's just like, it's like, you found my note. Go to the next fucking place. Yeah. So the symbol perched on the ground, pretty obvious. He's talking about the symbol, the falcon, because he stole the symbol of the airship fleet, which is the Arcee painting, and the white falcon is the symbol of Le Beurre. So it leads us to the fountain that is at the front of Grancel, which is a bird on the ground.
Yeah, and lo and behold, on the gate, on the fence at the back of it, there's a card, which is nice that we don't have to climb inside the fountain to get the card.
I did kind of get the feeling that we would have to, because they made a big deal about accessing the note the first time.
Yeah.
And the symbol perched on the ground is in the middle of a pond with a big fence around it, so I thought we were going to have to clamber over or something, because it doesn't say, look behind the big bird, it's just there.
I guess maybe he was worried that wind would blow it off and into the water, and then his whole thing would be ruined.
Maybe. But we pick up this note, and it says, "The third key is in the foreign manse. Examine the will of the Blue Knight." Again, no frills.
And we can't progress this any longer yet. But yeah, there is. So I have a screenshot here, and I don't know what prompted it. I'm mad. But Olivier said something, and Estelle says in parentheses, well, it is coming from someone similar, so I guess maybe I should listen to the warning here. And like, she's saying, well, whatever Olivier said, she's like, well, it's coming from someone a lot like blah blah, so he's probably right.
Yeah, he's saying something about his rivalry because Olivier's locked in as a party member at this point because they've sort of like given us a predefined 4.
Yeah.
I do think it's partly to make sure we don't miss a single moment of him getting horny for Blue Blanc.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for now, we can't access the next location because we're about to go there as part of the quest anyway.
Yeah.
So the Calvard Embassy was the first one that I stopped at because it also has part of this quest.
Yeah, that's where I went. I popped into the Calvard Embassy, and when you go there, Jin's all, friendly with everybody. He knows everybody. They all know him. It's all nice. And you go in, and they immediately notice, like, oh, the decor is so, like, Eastern, and I think they call it exotic or whatever.
It is beautiful.
It is. And Jin points out that a lot of people from even further east than Calvard have settled in Calvard, and there's a lot of, like, cultural influence there.
Before we get into the meat of our visit to the Calvard Embassy, the next clue very unclearly leads us to a bookshelf in a room off to the side in the Calvard Embassy, which is a series of books called The Doll Knight.
Yep.
Which is a book series that I think this is the first appearance of it in the series.
It's the book that Kevin was reading. It's the first time you can collect it, but it's what Kevin was reading to the kids. Right.
Yes. It was the one he was reading in the school in Minoria, right.
Yeah.
All of the volumes of the book are here on the bookshelf, and you can individually check every single one, which I believe is part of an achievement on Steam and stuff. Reading The Legend of the Doll Knight. But on chapter 15, when you open that one, there's a Blue Blanc card stuck inside, which I think is the chapter that mentions the character, the Blue Knight.
Yes.
But beyond that, there's no way you could possibly know this is where you're checking. So his clues are getting shorter and less helpful.
Now, what's fun, just as a fun fact about this book series, it actually originally is from The Legend of Heroes 5, Cage Song of the Ocean.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it's the exact same book, because they had the collectible, or not collectible, because I don't think you could take them with you, but like book series, like series of chapters. I mean, I read to you in the one I was playing about the swarthy pirate or whatever.
Right, yes.
The series of books that comes from before the Trails games and the Legend of Heroes thing. That's a callback to that, but apparently the Doll Knight is in one of those games. I don't know if it's exactly the same text. I don't think. I mean, obviously the translation wouldn't be because those because different translators, but it was a book series in another in that game, so that's kind of cool.
Interesting. Nice to have some carryover.
Yeah.
But in any case, the note reads. The door has already been opened. Join the dance of the valorous. So whatever fucking keys he was talking about have unlocked the thing that doesn't exist. And we have to join the dance of the valorous. So we'll get to that later. Other than finding weird notes in books, we are here for a reason at the Calvard Embassy, so I still wandered around and talked to everyone.
Yep.
In the same room as the Doll Knight books, there's a lady who recognizes Jin based on scale alone.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, look at this big bitch. That must be Jin. I don't even have to look up at your face. And Jin's sort of like, you recognized me by size? He's almost like a little offended, at which point Estelle says, well... I thought you were a bear when we first met. Yeah. And his response is just, geez.
Yeah.
Like
a literal bear. Right. I also found a guy called Counselor Benicio in one of the rooms here. And he mentioned, because the idea is that we're here to ask everyone about threat letter suspects.
Yep.
And he points out that there are some radical anti-immigration groups in Calvard that could be involved, but that's the only thing that comes to mind. Which is, again, another instance of Trails politics being terribly relevant these days. But then we go see the ambassador. That's, I think, all I had that was interesting that I talked to people.
Yeah, there wasn't really a lot of people in the embassy, to be honest. So yes, I handed up to see Elsa.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to let it go and continue on with the story.
Exactly.
Also, important to note, I don't think I noted this when she first appeared, but Ambassador Elsa Cochrane's teeny tiny reading glasses are so good.
They are so good.
They are functionally useless, but they look so sickening.
We love it. So we ask her if she can think of anyone who would be against the pact, and she says, well, you're looking at one. She's against the pact signing.
Yeah, it's me.
And she says that basically it's because she hates Erebonia so much, but also she wouldn't try to interfere. So like the president and the Congress or whoever it is, I can't remember who they said, like the other body, but it's been approved through the democratic process, and she would not intervene with that. She says there's no reason to actually like act out against the pact because it doesn't really have consequences to break. Like it's not that bad. She mentions that Calvard and Erebonia's relationships have gotten worse over the past decade, and that she has the best line maybe of this entire game. Where she says, even though she wants to blame it on the Empire, like, even the military hawks would, like, want to have access to that airship so they wouldn't intervene. And she says, even the most testosterone-poisoned ninnies among the Erebonian hawks wouldn't want to miss this chance. I love that. The testosterone-poisoned ninnies.
But she's absolutely right. Like, she's like, I don't think it's our dissidents, and it doesn't make sense for Erebonia to do it because they would lose out on this engine that they want. So it seems like an early suggestion that neither of the countries are at fault here. After we wrap that up, Estelle also asks about the Hayworths, whether Elsa knows anything about them. She doesn't, but she does suggest checking the...
Again, she's like, an abandoned child or a child that, like, lost child. Like, that's a big deal.
Yeah. She's like, yeah, absolutely, you need to look into that. Check with the Erebonian Embassy as well. They may have traveled through there, if not through Calvard.
Yeah.
So the inter-country conflict is set aside in the name of helping a child.
Yes.
Which I appreciate.
Yeah. I went back and finished the side quest now, the LeBlanc one now.
Yeah, same.
So, as a recap, we had to find the Dance of the Valorous of an open door.
Yes, which, again, these clues are not very helpful this time around. Blue Blanc. This clue leads us to the arena, which is mysteriously unlocked.
Yep. Earlier, if you tried to check it, it was locked.
Yeah, there was actually NPCs standing up front, tourists who were like, why can't we go in there?
Yeah.
Because they don't know what a closed business looks like, I guess.
Well, I guess maybe they thought of it as like the Coliseum. Like, why can't we go to the Coliseum? It's like, it's not quite that kind of a tourist attraction. Like, it is still in use.
It's mostly for the martial arts competition only, as far as we can tell. In any case, we go inside. You can't actually explore that much. You can only go into the waiting room that we used in the last game. And you cut out onto the field where we had our martial arts tournament fights and are attacked by some weird monsters that look gross.
Yeah, they're cryon ice monsters. They were annoying.
So they look like squids floating in like a shell of water or ice.
Made of ice, yeah.
Nasty.
There's like a big one called the Master Cryon and two little ones. They're annoying, but like, whatever.
Yeah, if you wear anti-freeze gear, even on one or two characters, you're pretty much set to smash this fight out really quickly. In any case, after we do, the monsters disappear and are instantly replaced with a treasure chest, which everyone thinks is very cool and showy.
Yeah.
So crack open the treasure chest, and inside is a final note from our favorite guy. My princess, my rival, and brave braces. Did you enjoy the show I prepared for your arrival? As I do not wish to upset the mood of our main role, it is time for the supporting actors to take their bows. I hope you will look forward to our next chance meeting. Aha!
That laugh was it sounded exactly like the combat bark. That was perfect.
I've listened to it a lot. So that's kind of it. Inside is the portrait of the Arcee that we were missing. And I love that Estelle's response to this is, oh, good, we found it. I just wish he'd cut this out.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm tired of these treasure hunts. Chloe also commented on the stage talk he was using.
Yeah.
He's referring to the main role and supporting actors, because he never assumes a metaphor without reason, this man.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. That sort of teleports us back to the History Museum where the painting's back up.
Yeah.
Everyone's very happy about it, and that's done.
And that was it. And then we can go back to our embassy job.
Yes, it's time to head over to the Erebonian Embassy this time,
Yeah.
where Olivier knows the guard Bergen by name.
Yep.
Interesting, because Jin knew the guard at the front of the gate, but he doesn't get named. So Olivier is more personable, which I thought was a nice little touch. Unfortunately, we walk into the Erebonian Embassy, and it's the most ugly building I've ever seen.
Oh, I don't think it's ugly. I think it's ostentatious, but it's fine.
Compared to like the beautiful green and warm wood tones of the other one.
Oh yeah, no, it's not as pretty as that.
It's like cream runners on top of royal red carpet, which I know imitates like the royal garb of the royal family in Erebonia, but it doesn't look good. It looks like linoleum tiles on top of carpet, and I just thought it was really ugly.
It doesn't bother me, but I can see what you mean.
Yeah.
But everyone is impressed except for Olivier. They're all like, woo, it's all grand. And Olivier goes, it is a stage upon which the Empire can parade its influence and power. He's very cynical sometimes about the Empire. Like, he's fun in games a lot, but occasionally he'll make very cynical comments.
He sort of insinuates that the actors don't match the grandeur of the stage in this particular performance.
Mm-hmm. Alas, that the actors are unequal to the set dressing, I think he says. But then we get an actor who is definitely equal better to the set dressing, because Mueller-Vander walks out. We love you, Mueller-Vander.
It's Mew Mew.
Mew Mew's here, and he immediately is like, Olivier the Ambassador would not be happy if you ever heard that. And Olivier goes, my most bosom companion! And Mueller offers to do the introduction to the Ambassador. He's like, it'll probably go better than Olivier doing it. And Olivier is dismayed that we have so little faith in him. And Estelle goes, you, thought we had faith in you for this?
Yeah, I love that. It's just like, oh, you don't have enough faith in me? He's like, you thought we had any? But in their little chat while they're ignoring Olivier as well, he, again, much like Butler Phillip, he's like pre-apologizing. He's like, I'm sorry for whatever bullshit this man has gotten into because of being around you. And Estelle says, well, he hasn't been too bad, I guess. He's been really well-mannered, comparatively. So he's at least improved on past performance.
I ran around to talk to everybody before I went to the Ambassador.
Yes.
And then Camilla the maid, we had a great chat. So Camilla's basically like, who are your guests? And Olivier says, or are these guests with you or whatever? And Olivier says, indeed, one could call them guests, but I'm more inclined to think of them as my soulmates. He goes on to say, our days spent together have been so tender, so sweet, I feel merely call this forced love to be a disservice to our bond. And Camilla asks if that means he's dumped Mueller.
Yep. And then if you talk to her again afterwards, she says, what do you think? Is Mueller still his one and only, or has he moved on to greener pastures? We've got a fanfic writer in the building. But yeah, other than Camilla's wonderful insights, there wasn't a lot going on in the embassy overall. There is a collection of the books from last game that you can find on a shelf, the Carnelia books, similar to how we had the Doll Knight books in the other embassy. Yes. So if you missed some like me last time around, you could stop and read through the entire thing, but it is incredibly long. And I don't think you get an achievement for reading this one.
A good one to do, though. They are good. And they do set up some stuff that's coming up later.
So yeah, with no one else interesting to talk to, it was time to go talk to the incredibly named Davil Cranar.
Yeah, which Cranar is a name that I know in real life. Like, I know people with that last name. But Davil is certainly a first name. Unlike Jin calling his ambassador by her first name, Mueller definitely does not call this guy by his first name.
The Lord Cranar.
Yeah, he is a lord. Nobility. We all get introduced to him, and then Olivier introduces himself. He goes, and I am the servant of love and peace, Olivier Lenheim. And Cranar's just like, you. Estelle basically asks directly. She's like very direct. She's like, okay, I'm here because the threat letters, do you know who could have been behind it? And the ambassador's like, you're very direct, but I appreciate that. And he says no one in the Empire would oppose it because the Emperor likes the pact, and so no one would go against him. He's like, I think it's the opposition party, and he says this in quotation marks in Calvard behind it, trying to make the, quote, president look bad. Yeah. And then he rants about opposition, doing whatever it pleases. This is a perfect example of the fallacies of mob rule.
Yeah, he doesn't believe in democracy.
No, and Jin pushes back, of course. He goes, yes, our political parties are always at each other's throats, but I don't think anyone can blame President Rocksmith if the pact falls apart. And Cranar just dismisses this. He's like, no, nobody from the Empire could be behind it. And Chloe pipes up with a really great little one, especially if you know more about Zamarian geopolitics. She goes, may I ask what Chancellor Osborne's opinion of the non-aggression pact is? And Krenna and Mueller are both shocked by this question. And Olivia goes, flawless riposte, Chloe.
Yes, and we get our first in a while.
Cool title alert.
Yes, we get our blood and iron chancellor. Because Estelle, of course, goes, who? And Olivier, I've got the quote here. The highest appointed official of our most glorious and august imperial government, the blood and iron chancellor, Gileath Osborne. His nickname comes from his personal motto. Our nation's peace must be built on a foundation of blood and iron. He has overseen the expansion of the rail system, as well as the annexation of several smaller states on our borders through less than diplomatic means. And Estelle goes, annex? Wait, you mean he? And Krenna goes, Olivier, how dare you criticize your empire's chancellor? Mm-hmm. And Olivier goes, oh, but Devil, how was I criticizing? I simply stated the fact. So Olivier calls him by his first name, but I think he just does that to piss him off. Mm-hmm. And then Olivier negs him a bit and says, well, Ambassador Cochrane was super helpful, and if you're not helpful, then the Braces are going to doubt the character of Erebonia. And Mueller is much more respectful and is just like, I don't think we need to hide info from them. So Krenna tells us that Osborne is also most receptive to this pact. Mm-hmm. Apparently, he's even the one who suggested the Emperor sign it. And this was before there was any mention of getting the engine. Mm-hmm. He says, there's been I have not been under any pressure to do any negotiations for terms on this pact. They were happy to accept it as was. He's also never heard of the Hayworths, but he's like, lost child, that's sad. I then talked to him a second time, and he commented that the Erebonia Bracer Guilds were all attacked recently, he heard, and that he worries that we young Bracers might also be a target, so we should be careful, which is surprisingly thoughtful of him, I guess. But now, we can get a book, because now that Mueller's hanging out with us, if we go back to the library now, we can get Volume 4 of Gambler Jack, which the library guy is horrified to realize this banned book is in his library and throws it at us.
Mm-hmm, because it's banned. It's funny that Olivier gave us Volume 3, and then we found Volume 4 in his embassy.
Yeah, he's been collecting them, clearly, or keeping them around, hiding them in here just to mess with people. Yeah. A man in the lounge, I think Gerald, says that Osborne was a former military man and reached his current position about 10 years ago. A counselor in somewhere else in the embassy says that Liberal is a buffer state. And Camilla the maid says that Osborne has been giving the ambassador a lot of stress. And then that was all there really was. So I left the embassy, and Olivia kind of spaces out weirdly when we leave, and Mueller's like, you are coming to the embassy to stay overnight, right? And Olivier says, yes, I would not miss the chance to have more sweet dreams in your bed, as always. Estelle and Chloe are shocked. Mueller tells him to stalk with the jokes before I have to spear you upon the embassy flagpole. I'm pretty sure Olivier wants to be speared on your flagpole, Mueller.
I think he does. He wants to feel that patriotism.
And he even says, so that's the direction I should approach from. You teach me more every day. He basically confirms it.
He's just like, so you're a top.
Please, as if he doesn't know already.
Of the two remaining choices, the next one I went to was the castle.
So did I, actually, yeah.
So at the gate, Chloe name checks both the guards because she knows them. And they're like, we're also happy to let you in, princess. It's lovely to see you.
They're very excited to see her, yeah. Jin comments that he sees why Duna is so jealous of her.
I do love that as they're entering, Chloe's like, welcome back to my house, as it were. He's like,
yeah,
thanks for coming over to my house, my big house.
My house, the seat of government. So our first stop here is the head maid, Hilda.
Yep.
Because she would know anything that happens, which makes sense. She says no one from the castle sent the letter. She's sure of that. Mm-hmm. But apparently several unsigned letters have arrived, which were petitioning to reduce or fully annul Alan Richards' sentence. We don't think it's the same culprits, but that's the thing that's been happening. Hilda actually remembers Harold Hayworth. The first person who knows who he is. She says that he asked for a tour of the castle a couple days ago. And she notices that Wren seemed to love the tour, but the parents barely even seemed present. They were like totally mentally checked out. And she wonders if maybe they were under strain at the time or something. She also invites us to stay at the castle overnight, which is nice of her. Mm-hmm. Then we go find Queen Alicia. I love that we're close enough to the Queen that we could just drop in for an unplanned visit.
Just wander into a literal bedroom.
Yeah.
So the Queen's out on her balcony, where Sig has already dobbed us in for being in town.
Yep, he said we were coming.
Chloe's like, thank you, Sig, for checking in with Grandma. That was very considerate of you. She comments that Estelle has a new sort of steely resolve to her, that she sees she's really improved herself.
Hell yeah.
And pauses awkwardly when meeting Olivier, which is just half of the course for the man as far as I can tell.
Yep.
She welcomes us in for some tea, which I'm sure she brewed herself again.
Again, of course.
And we ask her the same set of questions, like, do you know who might have sent these letters?
She turns it on Chloe, actually. She says, Chloe, first I want to hear what you think. It's like a little test for Chloe. And Chloe says, I don't think any force in the country is truly opposed to the pact, but after the coup, I think some of our extreme right-wing citizens are very concerned. And yeah, she does say extreme right-wing. I was like surprised even reading it. I was like, oh wow, they're just like the extreme right-wingers might make terrorist threats. Like, yeah. And she says their frustrations in general at the country, they could be sending the letters, not because they're against the pact, because like even the extreme right-wingers don't want to get invaded, that they might be just mad at the government. And so sending the letters is kind of their way to, you know, be mad. And then Queen Alicia agrees.
Yeah, she sort of says that's most likely.
She says she thinks it's renegade different intelligence division actors, and she says that the blame's partly on her because it was her actions that drove them to this. And Estelle goes, I don't know. I don't think they have the right to be able, blah, let's threaten people and be scary because we're sore losers. And Alicia's like, no, freedom of self-expression is precious. It's super important. Don't ever dismiss freedom of self-expression, which is cool to hear from a monarch.
Love to see it, yep.
Yeah, she thinks if it's the expansionists who are behind the letters, they're not going to attack, but if it's not them, who knows?
So Olivier challenges the Queen. He asks her why she's pushing for the peace treaty pact so much at the moment, considering how unstable Le Burle is coming off of the coup and all the shake-up with the military and everything. Yeah. And she basically says that the plans were already in motion for the peace treaty, and that halting it or delaying it would only sort of bolster the belief that the coup had an effect on the country.
Yeah.
And that the cross-spell issue is still causing tension, specifically between Erebonia and Calvard, because they're the ones fighting over it. And Chloe, sort of reinforces that there's the tug of war between Calvard and Erebonia, plus Cross-spell themselves saying that they want to be independent and own their own country. And
everyone just calls this the Cross-spell problem rather than explaining all that every time that comes up.
Yeah.
But Alicia says that she's hoping it's not going to directly address it, but it could lay groundwork for peaceful revolution and international diplomacy. And that could be helpful for the Cross-spell problem. And if that does work out that way, people will remember it was Le Burle who spurred it on. So it's not entirely... There's like...
Yes.
I don't think she's only doing it because it could serve Le Burle's interests at all. I think this is just showing that she's able to also like think about everything from multiple angles and like be like, this is for our self-interest and for the greater good. And Olivier seems quite impressed with her, honestly.
Yes, she's an excellent 4D chess player.
Yes. We ask about Ren. Alicia knows nothing, but offers to contact Mayor McDowell and the Cross-spell government. Chloe also wants to say something, but seems kind of nervous, and Alicia's like, we can talk about it tonight. You're staying over. I know what you want to discuss.
Yeah.
I think it's about the Queen thing.
The Queen issue.
As they leave, Olivia is very impressed by Alicia, and Chloe says, I don't think I can ever live up to her. And Olivia gives a really good, like, pep talk. He says, well, when did Alicia take the throne? And Chloe says, when she was about 20. And Olivia's like, well, how old are you? I'm 16. She's like, yeah, but, oh. And Olivia's like, yeah, she probably wasn't a master politician when she took the throne at 20, and you're even younger than she was there. So stop comparing yourself to her now. And we also learned for a fact that Olivier is 25 and Jin is 30, which I guess is dead in anime years. So that's very, good to know. I also had a few bits of NPC dialogue from around the castle I wanted to flag.
Oh, yep.
Basically, there's a maid called Primrose around in the throne room who says that she's glad the Duke is on house arrest because he was always staring at people with lecherous, dirty eyes, and then she shudders.
Oh, yeah, I caught that one.
Yeah, I was like, oh, you poor thing.
I actually, I had two little moments that I spotted around the castle that I almost completely forgot about. The first one, I just did sort of a lap around. I noticed that the secret passage into the sewers has been sealed back up. You can't even tell it's there anymore. But when I went up into the kitchen, there's a guy peeling potatoes or something, and he says that because of the secret passage we opened into the sewers, a bunch of rats got into the pantry and destroyed a bunch of the food in the larder. So that's why it's been all sealed up so perfectly now. And I was just like, whoops, sorry about that. That one was definitely on me. But the other one was there's a guy, Dayan, in the operations room who says he's been tasked with untangling the intelligence division's budgets. And that specifically the money was being misappropriated and sent somewhere, but they don't know where it was being redirected.
Yeah.
Concurrently with that, there's also a guy in the library where we found Hilda, who is investigating which books were requisitioned by the intelligence division to try and figure out what their plans were. The 3 books that he remembers, or that he mentions, are Castle Blueprints, The 7 Treasures, and the full details of the 100 Days War. So 7 Treasures, I'm assuming, is the Septarians.
Yep.
So the 100 Days War is when stuff happened, and they want to find out if there's something hidden in the castle. It makes sense that they were looking for the door down into the sealed area.
Yeah.
But they're still talking about it as though, what other books did they have? Like, what else were they looking for? He's very curious to learn more. I
also had a fun interaction with the maid in the maid chambers, who remembers that she helped Estelle and Joshua dress up as maids.
Oh, yeah.
Shea is the name of this maid, and she talks about this whole thing, and Estelle goes, oh, and Joshua had to wear one too. Shea did her magic on his face with her makeup. And Olivia goes, Joshua, who once played the role of Princess Cecilia so perfectly, also portrayed a maidservant. He's like, I can't believe I've missed Joshua in drag twice. What the actual fuck?
Poor Olivier. I didn't get that scene. I think I heard mention, because the game sort of, it suggests that you go to the maid quarters to then find out where Hilda is. I just kind of ran across her by accident.
Yeah.
I didn't end up going to the maid quarters at any point, I think. So it's good to
enough.
know that Olivier's FOMO is only strengthening every time he hears something happened.
Only strengthening. But then when we go outside, it is evening by now. And there's another update. Keeping up with the Casanova, lover boy in the burrow. He's now got his own speech. He goes, the evening sun, dyeing the white clouds such a brilliant scarlet color. And me, such a small piece in the grand scheme of things. Hey, Ricky, I, who am so insignificant, what should I do? Ricky goes, why don't you try running after the evening sun? Not sure how much it'll accomplish, but you might find yourself feeling better just from the flow of things. He's like, I don't know, get some endorphins, buddy.
Yeah, exercise creates endorphins.
Don't just stand still and be sad. Then we go off. Liberal news is all we have left.
Yeah, one last stop to quickly squeeze in before we head home because it's getting dark. Inside, Niall is upstairs in the reference room. We ask him if he knows anything about what's going on with the threat letters. His big scoop.
He gives us the best intro when he sees us, though. He goes, oh, it's that Bard guy. And, oh, Your Highness, good day to you, yeah.
But yeah, his big scoop, it turns out, is about the 9 letters that we already knew about. So he doesn't really have any new information for us.
He's really bummed.
Which, yeah, he's bummed about. But his theory is that it's all a big prank because the threat letters don't actually have a threat or an implication of consequence for not following his actions. It's just like,
disaster will be visited upon you. Like, that's not a specific threat. That's terrorist letters are usually more specific.
So yeah, he thinks it's just to rile people up, basically. So his proposition is that he'll investigate it from the point of view that it is a fraud and try and prove that, while we investigate it as a legitimate threat so that we can compare notes, which is very smart from our local reporter.
Yep.
Covering all bases. Yeah, he doesn't really have anything new. We also ask him while we're there, like, where's Dort? Where's Dorothy at the moment?
Yes.
She's over in Bose at the moment because the Capua's secret base has now been transformed into an airship training facility. So she's taking photos there.
Yep. He's a little nervous, I think, about her being away on her own, but it had to happen eventually. He's like, well, hopefully she comes back alive.
But with that, it's time to head back to the guild because we've checked out all of our spots.
We have.
Back inside, we find out, in my case, Agate basically turned up Bupkis. He got nothing from the places that he checked.
Yeah, Shara too. She found a bit about Ren, but nothing about the letters.
Yes, I got the same. So, checking in at the hotel, he says they confirmed that the whole family stayed at the hotel for 2 weeks and checked out that morning.
Yes.
So, day of, they were staying in the hotel. They'd also been worshipping at the cathedral really regularly.
Yeah.
And this I actually realized because I had stopped in at the cathedral earlier, and there's a kid in there who mentions playing with a girl in a white dress, and that she hopes she comes back so that they can play again.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, other than praying and staying at the hotel, there was nothing at the airship port to say that they'd left or arrived in the past 6 months. There's no record of the Hayworths flying into or out of Grancel at all.
And the records only go back 6 months, so it's not like there's a record of it beforehand. Like, there's just no evidence of these people even existing, for all we know.
So you get the BP choice. The two suggestions, I can't remember what the first one is. It's like maybe they traveled by road or something.
Yeah.
But wait a minute is the correct choice, which is just such a nothing. It's just like, maybe not.
Yeah.
And that's the good BP choice.
It's quite silly.
Estelle calls back to meeting Ren at Airleton, where she'd said that they'd just flown in on an airship because they flew over a lake on the way in.
Yes.
So we have a mismatch between the information at the airport and here.
It's possible they use false names. They do point that out, but...
If they were in trouble, they might have been traveling under assumed names.
Yeah.
So for now, it's just like, well, it's getting late. We need to, like, crash for the evening, then we can keep investigating tomorrow.
And we decide that we're not going to take up the offer to stay at the castle just because if the guild needs to reach us, it's easier for them to reach us at the hotel.
Exactly. So everyone's opted out. Chloe's very understanding. They decide, even though we're not going to be staying together, we're all going to have a big dinner at the bar together before breaking up.
Yeah.
Because Estelle even mentions that he actually does want to hear Olivier on the piano because he is legitimately talented.
Yes.
We don't get a whole big scene of this, which is a little unfortunate. Even just like a still image would have been fun just to see all the characters hanging out.
It's so sad because the text description makes it sound like the best time ever. Like, I want to see that.
Yeah, it mentions that even Mueller and Niall were invited to join in the end, so everyone was just hanging out, having a great time.
Yeah.
I can't imagine a smiling, happy Vander, so I would love to see that. But we cut to after dinner outside of the bar where Chloe is just separating off to go back to her grandma's house, as they say, because they don't want to disclose to Ren that she is a princess.
I got a funny line with Shara.
Oh, yeah.
So as they're leaving, outside the hotel, like parting ways, Estelle asks Shara if she's sure she wants to duck out of the party early because like Jin and Olivia are still going. And she says, it's a professional courtesy since I drink them under the table if I stayed. So she does know that she can drink them under the table.
Agate actually has the opposite. He's like, I'm having a good time, but I know that they will drink me under the table.
Yeah, I love that. I love the self-awareness, Agate.
I also love that when he was offered to stay at the palace, he was like, it's all a bit hoity-toity for me, no thanks.
It's cute.
But yeah, we're separating off. At the hotel, we find out that there's no 4-person room. We have to stay in 2 doubles.
Mm-hmm.
So Ren immediately called dibs on Estelle. Tita was very upset, but then when she realized that means she gets to room with Agate, she's actually not that upset after all. She's like, yeah, I get to stay with my big bro.
Yeah, in my case, she was a bit upset, but Shara offers to show Tita some tarot card games, and Tita's excited about that.
Oh.
So that's cute.
Oh, cute.
Yeah.
So we head into the room, and as they walk in, I realize it's the same room that Estelle and Joshua stayed in during the martial arts tournament.
And you're not the only person who realized it at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Because Estelle has a flashback.
She has a little flashback, so she like locks up for a minute, which Ren notices, but she kind of brushes off.
Yep. She
also makes more weird comments.
Yeah, she says, you don't need to keep searching so hard for my parents. They said they'll come back. And, besides, she says, my folks are very good at hide and seek, which is weird.
And you won't find them.
And then she says she has 2 requests for Estelle. The first is she wants to call her Estelle instead of Miss Estelle, but she's been calling her Miss Estelle all chapter. And she's like, Tita gets to call you Estelle, and I want to do it too. And so I was like, well, yeah, that's fine. Like, I didn't tell you had to call me Miss Estelle in the first place. So, she's like, yeah, that's fine.
Exactly.
And then she wants to know why Estelle was so surprised when they entered the room. Estelle explains that she stayed in the same room before with someone else, and it reminded her a bit of him. They talk a bit about Joshua, and Ren says, figures like, oh, you look sad because you don't know when you'll see this person again. Ren also has a funny line where Ren's like, oh, he must be a wonderful person. And Estelle says, right now, I think he's a bit of a jerk, actually. Which is great. Like, I love that she's determined to find him, but she's also like, he's dumb, and he's being insensitive and jerkish.
I do love that she gives a full description of Joshua. He's got black hair, the amber eyes, and then he's pretty handsome. Well, actually, he's more beautiful than handsome.
Yeah.
Just a nice little drag reference there.
Yeah. And Ren's like, huh?
She's like, eh? I was like, yeah, don't worry about it. In any case, it's time for bed. Estelle's like, no more questions, bedtime, bye.
Well, yeah, because she starts to say, he took my first, meaning the first kiss, doesn't finish it, and Ren says, won't let it go, and Estelle's like, no, please, let's go to bed. Don't keep asking me about this.
Oh, goodness. In any case, it's beddy times, and we cut to a different scene.
Yes, because it's not bedtime for everyone. Some people are still hard at work.
Yeah, up and about Annalise and a friend.
Whoever isn't there. So for me, it's Agate, of course, and for you, it's Shara. They're sneaking around outside of the cave place where the Sky Bandits had ditched the big airship, the Lind,
Yeah, the Ravennue mine, the abandoned mine there.
They see some Spops guys going in. They've been tracking them. And yeah, they're going in.
Yeah, so they sneak in because they want to like count numbers so they can get a better picture of what's going on inside before they make an assault. But inside they find the tents set up, the campfire lit, but the place is completely empty.
Yeah.
Which is suspicious.
Yeah, really fucking suspicious. The only thing they find in the whole place is blueprints for something called the Orguri. And there's a note inside that says, I've sent out the invitations. I've got the table and chairs ready. Everything's ready for the tea party. Now all I need is to bake some crumpets and wait for the guests to arrive. There's something really funny about it being Agate in my game who reads this note. You've got Agate being like, I've got the tea party ready.
I've got the tea party ready.
But now we have the chapter title, finally. We have an idea of what that might be coming from. And Agate thinks it's some kind of code for me. Is that what Annalise and Shara figure as well?
Yeah, I get kind of the same implication. Yeah, Shara determines that it's a cipher code that's hiding its true meaning. That's called simile and metaphor.
Yep.
But then suddenly we have to dodge out of the way. She shoves Annalise.
Yeah, Agate yells scatter.
Shara like shoves Annalise out of the way before she gets shot with a bunch of bullets.
Yeah, a bunch. And it's the Spop guys.
And then we actually have a fight, which I wasn't expecting.
Real combat, yeah. The Spop guys are acting really weird in the fight. Like, they're not saying anything or anything. It's a pretty easy fight.
Yeah, they just sort of pop up, silently attack us. We take them down. After the fight, Shara remarks that something seems wrong about them because it was like whipping a tree.
Agate says it was like hacking away at a sword, which I think is kind of a better metaphor because, like, a sword, they're just a mindless weapon.
Yeah.
So it was like hacking at a mindless weapon. That makes some sense, but it works either way, I guess. And then somebody appears to hang.
See, now this is a problem for me because something went wrong with my game.
Oh no.
At no point in this scene did this other character's sprite show up on screen.
Oh no.
So initially you hear like a young boy's voice laughing from the distance. I thought he was laughing from off screen and was about to walk on screen, and then he never did. They were just talking to him. I don't know what happened, but yes, a strange young man.
Did you at least get like his big portrait showing up on the screen?
I got the portraits. I was like so mystified for the first half of the scene.
That is so weird.
So an invisible boy in my version of the story steps out.
In mine, invisible boy.
And is giggling away to himself.
Yes. We recognize him from the prologue as Campanella, if you have him on your screen. Or I guess even if you don't, you get his like portrait. And he introduces himself.
He gives his full cool title alert introduction.
Cool title alert.
He introduces himself as Enforcer Number 0, Campanella the Fool.
And he tells us he's but one hand of the Society of Ouroboros. And they're like, oh my god, Ouroboros? Annalise says, you look really young, you should get away from the society, they're bad people. And Campanella goes, you're very kind, miss, but it's okay to laugh at a fool. That's what he's there for. But worrying about the fool? Now that's quite rude. And then he apparently is really mad because he reanimates the Spops guys, like with a click of his fingers. And says if you really want to defeat them, you have to cut them into pieces. And then he blows them up. And after the smoke clears, you see body parts scattered all around the screen. It's like really shocking. It feels quite graphic.
It is, yeah.
And then he just teleports away. I think his sprite bows, if you can see his sprite. And he just leaves.
Yeah, I got the effect of him leaving, and that was the point where I realized that he'd meant to have been in frame the whole time, because just like random spot on the grass started like a magic spell and then flashed.
Oh no.
I hope this is not a consistent problem with Campanella, because that's really gonna like upset the drama of the scenes.
That would really harsh the vibe.
But after he teleports away,
Annalise and Agate, they're really upset. Obviously,
they're like, "Holy shit! Those guys just got turned into pieces of guys."
Yeah, that's like a horrible thing to see. Like, regardless of what people do, like that's a horrible thing to happen to someone. And in my game, Agate wants Annalise to go and transit somewhere else while he buries them. He's like, "You shouldn't have to see this. I'll bury them. You go off and like go to the village or something." But Annalise goes and picks up an arm. Or what does Cher say, actually, first? Does Cher say anything about that?
She says that they should do them the respect of burying them. So she sort of steps forward. She doesn't tell Annalise to back off. It's just like, we should take care of this.
Yeah.
And then, Annalise picks up a chunk of guy.
Yes, chunk of guy, as you do. And she's like, this is fake. This isn't actually a human part. And they realize that these are not human body parts. These are... And Kevin appears all of a sudden.
Yeah, sliding in from the left.
And he says, these are archaisms.
Yeah, orbital machines capable of independent action.
Mm-hmm.
And they are here to get fucked up by us.
They're here, you realize, possibly so that people think...
The Intel Division are around.
Because we're going to go to West Bowes Highway. And the Spops guys are all marching down the hall, and the Capuas show up and attack them. You get this whole little attack scene where they're just like, your turn, and the siblings are going. Mm-hmm. And then Joshua shows up, and he S-crafts them, and I really miss being able to use this goddamn S-craft.
Yes.
But fine. They all blow up like the other puppets, and Joshua knows they're dolls. And he thinks these dolls are to make the Royal Army think that the Intelligence Division is active in Bowes, when really, they're at this tea party. And we also find out that it was Joshua and the Capuas who made sure that Agate and Annalise, or Cher and Annalise, could find that note. Like, they left it for them.
Interesting thing I noticed here in this scene as well, because it's been a while since we've seen Joshua. His portrait images specifically don't have any sparkle in his eyes, which makes him look very blank. You can see it because all of the Capuas, despite being criminals, they have, like, pretty sparkle in their eye.
Some light, yeah. There's no light in his eyes.
So it's very clear that he is, like, dead inside. But they sort of chop up some more Spops guys that explode, and say that it's the 10th lot of them that they have destroyed.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of these guys running around.
Yep.
But then, after checking in with Grimdark Joshua, we cut back to the next morning.
The next morning, we already are in the villa. And as we go in, we see Tina and Ren chasing each other in circles around the fountain, which is quite cute.
Yep. And
we are reporting to Sid. Sid is satisfied with our results. He says the army has been doing sweeps of the monsters on the roads. Ren's parents haven't been seen at any checkpoints, he tells us. But then another soldier runs in and reports on the Intelligence Division being seen in Bowes. Which we know, we know that the Royal Army is intended to know that. They're falling into the trap, it would seem, but...
It seems. They've put the army at level 2 alert, apparently, whatever that means.
Yeah, and Sid can't chat with us anymore, so we've regained control. And this is the part where we get to save and call it for the episode.
Hooray! That was surprisingly a much longer half than I was expecting.
It is, but it felt like the place to stop, because stuff's going to be fun.
Yeah, so next episode, a nice easy stopping point once again. We'll be playing through to the end of Chapter 3.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be a great episode. I think it's going to be really fun. For reasons.
Some fun stuff to look forward to, so check in with us next week for that one.
Yeah.
But for now... Thank you so much for joining us on Trails Through Trails. A proud member of the TWG Podcast Network, you can find our show at trailspod.online and the network at theworstgarbage.online. You can also check in with us on Twitter, Instagram, and, I almost said Facebook, Blue Sky at TrailsPod. You can email us at trailsthroughtrails@gmail.com with any questions, concerns, comments, other feedback. We'd love to hear it. And please leave reviews for us on your platform of choice for your podcasts. It's always helpful to have word of mouth out there alongside us just shouting from our one place on the internet. Now, I had an idea, Lex, because it is wonderful to be part of TWG. There are so many good shows on the network, but the problem is that there are so many good shows on the network. So I thought I would try something similar to how we're trying to sort of limit ourselves down to 3 fun chest messages per dungeon or per location, just so that we're not giving everything away and also just like focusing down on our favorites. I thought we could maybe do the same with recommending TWG shows at the end of each episode.
Yeah.
So I found this treasure chest.
Oh.
This is a sight gag that's purely for us, sorry. I found this little treasure chest, and it's full of names of TWG shows, so I thought maybe I would pull some out, and we can get a couple of shows to recommend people check out. What do you think?
Oh, that's really cute. I like that.
Let me shake the treasure chest to shake up its contents. That's how you use treasure.
Oh my god, we're getting chest messages. We got our own chest messages.
Exactly. I thought chest messages could be fun. So the first show that I would love to throw out there... first show is Can't Let It Go.
Ooh, love it. That's Matt Horton and AC talking about, I think they call it an audio PowerPoint party, where each episode, one of them or a guest is talking about something that they can't let go. It's a blast. They've talked about everything from the history of Jeopardy, which was a really fun one. They've talked about Chapel Roan, you might like. They've talked about the Barbie movie. They've talked about Star Trek. They've had a lot of great episodes. Definitely got to recommend it.
I actually joined a bonus episode on Matt's Ko-Fi as well, where we talked about queer video games specifically. I can't remember if it's what we actually called the episode in the end, but I at least was referring to it in our chats as Can't Let It Gay.
I love that.
Check them out on TWG. Next up, we have Memory Card Manuscript.
That's a YouTube channel.
So Stephen Hilger's YouTube channel, where he posts video essays about games. I know he said he was working on a new one recently, but I can't recall what it was about. But he said it'd be coming soon.
Might be the Chrono Cross one?
Yes, I think it was the Chrono Cross one. So check out that and many other cool videos on his YouTube channel with that new one arriving soon.
Yeah, I think the most recent one was about how Ace Attorney gamifies narrative, something like that. So that's a blast.
Well, there's another great recommendation in TWG. Lex, would you like to pick the third one? I'm going to hold this up to... Oh, there we go.
For those who can't get the sight gag, I just did a pinching motion at the camera.
And our last recommendation this episode is the wonderful Press Start.
Press Start! The
Gen Z gaming podcast.
I was about to say it's the newest, but it's not the newest because we're the newest, but the second newest.
Newest prior to us, yeah.
In the latest episode, they talked about the tragedy of the fact that Silk Song's not actually going to be on Wii U after all.
Alas.
Which is obviously the big gaming news that we're horrified of. But no, but they talked about some great stuff. They talked about some AI news in the game industry, some Stardew Valley news, some more Silk Song news. Lots of fun stuff.
So they are our very slightly older siblings in the TWG family. It's great to have the voice of Gen Z telling us what we should know about video games. I like to feel old. They also shouted us out on their most recent episode, which I was very appreciative of, welcoming us to the network.
Yes, that was very kind of them. Thank you, guys.
Those are our 3 recommendations for the episode, and let me snap close my treasure chest. I just thought that'd be a fun way to mix it up and get a random selection of our brother and sister shows to shout out to people. That's all for us this week. Next week's episode, we'll be covering the remainder of Chapter 3 of Second Chapter.
Yeah.
But until then, I've been Matt.
I've been Lex.
And we will see you next time on the trail. Goodbye.
Bye.
TWG, the worst garbage, online.